Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Prehistoric Survival. Start with a stone cave. Chapter 1. Dark, dull, dry. When Zhou Yi woke up from a daze, this was the first feeling in his brain. A lighter, half a compressed biscuit. These are the only two things left on him. It's dark outside. It's a little hot underground. There was a faint smell of sulfur in the air, and he was still wearing a wrinkled camouflage military uniform. Zhou Yi is a soldier, 23 years old this year. When he opened his eyes, he realized something was wrong with the surrounding situation. A transparent screen of light flashed before my eyes, with a lot of words flashing across it. Where is this? Something is going wrong. I'm in a cave, and the animal's foot outside is as big as a room. Oh my god, I'm scaring the baby to death. I'm in the cave too. Am I spoiling my eyes too much? I saw a pterosaur flying in the sky outside the cave. Brother, you read that right, this is prehistoric times, we have traveled through time. I'm so miserable. I was eating braised pork with pickled vegetables and drinking Chinese flower wine at home, and the next second someone came here. I'm even worse than you. I was in the middle of taking a shit, and when I opened my eyes, I was here. Mom, Dad, brothers, sisters, uncles, grandparents, my name is XXX. Please reply if you see it. Brothers, let me give you some popular science. This is not a prehistoric era, but a mixture of all prehistoric eras. The oxygen content in the air exceeds 35%. Plants and animals are huge, and there are many raptors. From Cambrian trilobites to Cretaceous there are dinosaurs and all the species that have become extinct in history, and humans are at the bottom of the food chain, so be blessed. Mom, I want to go home. Quote. After blocking out a large amount of useless information, Zhou Yi briefly judged the current situation. He traveled through time, traveling to an unknown prehistoric time and space that may not even be on Earth. Under the transparent light screen in front of you, there are 4 buttons, namely World Channel, Regional Channel, Trading Platform, and System Message. There are 10,000 people in the regional channel, and some people are constantly sending messages. But the frequency is obviously not as good as the 8 billion people on the World Channel. Zhou Yi found that the system message on the light screen kept flashing in front of his eyes. So I clicked on it, and several system prompts popped up in front of me. 1. You have arrived in the prehistoric era. Your birth base is temporarily safe, but it is not guaranteed to be safe all the time. 2. You must not only be careful of attacks by prehistoric beasts, but also be careful of natural disasters. 3. Work hard to develop your base, surviving is what you need to do. 4. There are 1,000 supply boxes scattered in each area, which contain life-saving supplies. If you are lucky, you can use them to survive. 5. The system has balanced your respiratory system for you, so you don't have to worry about dying from inhaling high oxygen. After Zhou Yi finished reading, he turned off the system prompts. At this point, he fully understood his situation. A pair of eyes suddenly became sharp. Now that we are here, nothing in the past matters anymore. The most important thing is to survive. There was only half a bag of compressed biscuits left in my pocket, which could at most keep me from being hungry for half a day. While you still have plenty of energy, what you should do now is to go out and find food and water. Zhou Yi was about to get out of this dark cave. A faint light in front of his eyes immediately caught his attention. There is a black scroll lying on the ground. There are 3 words written on the scroll: Occupation, Beast Tamer. When he touched this strange scroll, the scroll flashed with light and suddenly disappeared. Then he found that he had some more memories in his head. Tamer. There is also an additional Animal Tamer option in the system. Click on the option. Above is some introduction about animal trainers. The Beast Tamer is a rare profession in this survival game. Its characteristic is that it can tame beasts, let the beasts understand some simple instructions, or fight side by side with you. There are 7 levels in total, and you need to complete the conditions to advance to the next level. As the tamer level increases, the success rate of taming will be higher and the number of tamed animals will be greater. A high-level animal trainer can control 300 dinosaurs and various beasts by one person, and can form a dinosaur army. In addition, animal trainers can also prepare some pills and nutrients and feed them to dinosaurs or other beasts to strengthen muscle proteins and strengthen their reflex nerves, making them better at fighting. Potions that speed up cell division can also be prepared to speed up the growth of beasts. Joey checked his current animal trainer level and found that it was Level 0, current taming success rate, 1%, title, none. The conditions he needs to meet to advance to the next level are, tame a dinosaur that has just learned to walk. He quickly flipped through the world channel. I found that no one had mentioned anything about the Black Scroll. However, a few lucky ones were so excited that they found supply boxes near the cave where they were born. Successfully obtained food, water and supplies. I was so excited that I kept showing off. Joey flipped through dozens of pages in succession. He was not sure whether the Black Scroll was unique to him. But at least most people don't have such a thing. The trainer seems pretty good. After Joey muttered something, he took the lighter and quickly touched outside. There is a turn not far in front of the cave, and light comes in from the outside. After going around the corner, we came to the outside of the cave. Joey stood at the entrance of the cave and couldn't help being surprised by the sight in front of him. Outside the cave, there is actually a virgin forest. Tall, thick tropical trees at least 200 meters high. Layers of branches, with vines crisscrossing them, cover the sky above. The moisture in the air blows towards your face. Various unknown strange sounds echoed in the depths of the jungle. A blade of grass next to me was half a meter tall, and tall and weird ferns were everywhere. His cave is on the edge of the virgin forest. The virgin forest is full of crises and dangers. Even the tropical rainforests on Earth are full of dangers. Ordinary people don't dare to go deep. What's more, this is a primeval forest from prehistoric times. Joey felt the danger of his situation for a moment. He couldn't bear it if any wild beast broke into his cave. All difficulties are not difficulties in front of the people's soldiers who protect their homes and country. What he wants to protect now is his own cave. Without saying a word, Joey took firm steps and plunged into the forest. The ground is full of dry vines and old tree roots. When you step on it, there will often be a click sound. Because of the rich oxygen content in the air, the ferns around us are very tall. An ordinary grass is half as tall as a person. You can often see blades of grass 2 or 3 people tall in unknown huge vegetation. Block your way forward. Walking through it, people will have the illusion that they are getting smaller. This environment makes it easy for predators to hide. No one knows what poisonous insects and beasts are hidden behind these blades of grass. Joey only had a lighter and no weapons. Any poisonous insect could kill him. In prehistoric times, an insect could grow to more than half a meter. In the eyes of insects, humans are also their diet. Joey tried not to get close to trees and plants. There were many poisonous insects and beasts on the trees, so he chose an open area to move forward. I learned wilderness survival skills in the army before. Understand that to survive in the wild, you must first find water. Food is also near water sources. If you find water, you can find food. Joey marked the road at his feet as he walked. I walked through the bushes for about 20 minutes. Not far ahead I found a dwarf berry forest. This berry forest is very large, at least half an acre of land. The berry trees are full of red berries. TH's discovery made Joey very excited. But the problem is, he doesn't know if these berries are poisonous or not. After all, it is something from the wild. He didn't have any poison testing tools in his hand either. If you accidentally eat it, you will be poisoned. When hesitating, suddenly there was a rapid flapping of wings in the air. The sound is harsh and sharp, like an engine running at high speed. A giant veined dragonfly flew through the trees. This is an insect from the Carboniferous period on Earth. The body length is about the length of an adult's arm. Often feeds on insects and small birds. Information about this ancient insect quickly flashed through Joey's mind. Unexpectedly, I encountered a giant veined dragonfly here. The point is, it eats meat. Joey had no weapons in his hands and did not want to be discovered by the giant dragonfly, so he quickly hid under the leaves of a tall fern. This giant veined dragonfly flew over Joey's head. It landed on the berry forest, opened its sharp sickle-shaped mouthparts, and began to eat the berries. It seems that giant veined dragonflies are omnivorous and do not eat entirely meat. Joey hid under the leaves. He originally wanted to try to tame the giant dragonfly. Then I thought about it and gave up. If he fails, he will have to face a giant veined dragonfly with his bare hands. Look at its sharp, sickle-shaped mouthparts. When it eats berries, it cuts the pulp like a knife and keeps bringing it into its mouth. Just know that it is never easy to mess with. After the giant veined dragonfly finished eating a berry, it flapped its wings and flew away. After the giant veined dragonfly flew away, Joey appeared from behind the leaves. He was now sure that the dragonfly would be fine eating these berries. Even if it's poisonous, it won't kill a dragonfly, so he should be fine if he eats it. Now I can only take a gamble. First he picked a berry and tasted it. The outside of the shell is very tender. When you bite into it, the juice will overflow. The red pulp inside is very rich. The taste is sweet and slightly sour. Joey felt very good and ate 2 in one go. The berries are huge. One is about the size of a fist, and 2 are just enough to fill your stomach. In the primeval forest, which is surrounded by dangers, we are extremely lucky to find this berry forest. After Joey finished eating, he was ready to pack some and take them back. I found that I didn't even have a package in my hand. I can only take off my clothes and use them as a backpack. Joey quickly took off his clothes. He wasn't sure if the dragonfly would ever return. I immediately picked a dozen berries, wrapped them in clothes and tied them tightly. And I picked a shorter berry tree and uprooted it. Put it on your shoulders and quickly return along the original path without looking back. Because Joey had marked along the way, following the marks on the ground, he quickly found the cave he left. Joey hurried back to the cave, where basic food was temporarily available. These berries are enough to support his diet for the next period of time. It was already dark outside at this time. He didn't even have a lighting tool on him. After eating 2 berries, I don't feel hungry for the moment. Joey opened the world channel, and a bunch of messages quickly flooded the screen. Look what everyone has been through. Brothers, this world is so scary. There are even giant insects from the Carboniferous period here. I encountered a millipede, with a body length of 2.5 meters and a weight of 50 kilograms. Oh my god, it scared the baby to death. I fell down and saw a scorpion as big as a pig. It opened its pincers and pounced on me. It was so big that I was scared. Brother, you broke into its territory. If you don't know the surrounding environment, it's best not to wander around. Due to the oxygen-rich environment, the insects here are generally huge. Upload photo, giant lung scorpion. It's so big. There must be bigger ones than this. This thing looks like my roommate. Upstairs, does your roommate have a grudge against you? By the way, how can you still post pictures? There is a camera function in the lower left corner of the screen, so you can take pictures. Oh, I understand, thank you, old man. Upload photo, Gu Malu Baye. These things are rich in protein, just take off the head and eat them directly. PFF, that's enough for you upstairs. When Mr. Bay comes, he has to shake his head. Quote. In a lot of barrage, many idiots like to tease. Many barrages lament that the world is scary. Joey opened the light screen and found a photo button in the lower left corner. Sure enough, he clicked it and took a photo of the angle he was currently facing. The pictures taken will be automatically saved by the system. But this thing can't take pictures of yourself, it can only take pictures of what you see. A low-quality iron pickaxe, in exchange for food and water. An Oreo for clean, drinkable water. A chair, any food. I have a box of compressed biscuits and I would like to exchange it for a box of purified water. Come sincerely. There are a large number of people in the World Channel who are reading transaction information. Most of the items these people trade are brought with them. Some people carry compressed biscuits, some have Oreos in their pockets, and some have picks in their hands. These things were brought over together. They traded it for what they needed. There is no currency here, and no one can price things. Transactions can only be carried out by barter. After everyone agrees on the price, and both parties are satisfied, they can exchange with each other through the trading platform. Joey found that most people were in urgent need of food and water. The screen is full of transaction information, with the most messages asking for food and water. This is normal. The first element of survival is water and food. So Joey also took the berries in his hand and joined the trading army. Joey used the system's camera to take a few photos of the berries on his handle. Then I sent a message on the World Channel. Exchange berries for stone gate making scrolls, summer coming. Upload photo, fresh berries. Joey put a few photos behind his transaction information. The photos show big, fresh berries, which proves that I am not fooling people with fake ones. As soon as Joey's message was sent out, dozens of transaction information requests were immediately received. At first glance, they were all private messages sent by others. Friend, I have stones, can I trade them with you? Friend, are you here? I have clean water here, and I want to trade berries with you. Little brother, I have a candy, can I exchange it with you? Star eyes. Quote. Joey clicked on these private chat messages, but none of them were what he wanted. Shimon production scroll. He needs a stone door very much now. It will be night soon. If this stone cave doesn't even have a door at night, it will be very unsafe. He may not even dare to sleep at night and stay at the entrance of the cave all night long. Since there was no stone gate, Joey settled for the next best thing and first traded 5 units of stones with others. At least pile stones at the entrance of the cave and seal the entrance first so that you can sleep more peacefully. As for other transaction information whose value cannot be equal to that of berries, he will not even look at it. Automatically filtered out. Do you want to exchange a piece of candy for your brother's berries? Humph, don't even think about it. Joey continued to swipe the screen. Exchange berries for stone gates to make scrolls. The barrage flashed too fast, sometimes it passed by in the blink of an eye, and some people didn't see it. You need to swipe several times to see it. Anyway, Joey has plenty of goods. Joey found that the berries in his hand were quite popular, and there were always a bunch of people rushing to trade with him. So Joey exchanged the berries for an inferior stone pickaxe. Change sleeping bag, change spring water, change to a big sack. We'll continue to pack berries tomorrow. Joey spent the whole night farming berries in exchange for Shimon crafting scroll. Finally someone responded to him. It's a man named Wong Tilan. This man does have the Shimon production scroll in his hand. In fact, he had already seen Joey's swiping message. He felt that his Shimon crafting scroll was a treasure, and he found it by opening a supply box. It's a waste to trade it for berries. But if he doesn't change his food, he will go to bed hungry tonight. Joey bargained with him for a while. This man insisted that he needed 2 berries to exchange it. There are still a lot of berries in Joey's hand. So I exchanged 2 berries with Wong Tilan for Shimon crafting scroll. Wong Tilan's mood improved a lot. Berries can not only satisfy hunger, but also replenish water. Just change 2 berries and you won't have to change the water. The high trading value of Joey's berries is reflected in this. You have obtained Shimon production scroll. Materials required to make the stone door. Stone x 10 units, metal sheet x 1 unit. Joey finally got the Shimon making scroll and found that 2 more materials, stone and metal pieces, were needed. He currently only has 5 units of stone and 1 unit of metal pieces. So I immediately went to the World Channel and continued to read news. Berries for 5 units of stone. Berries for 1 unit of metal sheet. This time there was an immediate response. Although stones are considered a scarce resource, they need to be mined constantly. If there is a stone mine near the base, it is easy to dig out the stone. If not, you often have to spend a long time digging to get 1 unit of stone. But compared to berries, the scarcity of stones is obviously not as good as berries. In the early days, food was more important than anything else. Joey quickly spent 2 berries and collected 5 units of stones. Using 1 berry, I exchanged 1 unit of metal piece with a person named Zhao Qingkong. Joey gathered together stones and metal pieces, and immediately used Shimon making scroll to make Shimon normal level. I saw that the originally open entrance of the cave was immediately blocked tightly by a stone door, leaving no gap around. There is an iron bolt behind the stone door, which can be locked from the inside. Looking at the hole that was finally sealed, Joey breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, I sealed the hole before going to bed at night. Otherwise, I won't even be able to sleep well tonight. This stone door is about 7 centimeters thick. I can't say it can protect against those ferocious beasts. At least it can isolate insects and some smaller beasts from attacking. This production method will be recorded in the system forever in the future. As long as he has the materials, he can make a stone door ordinary level anytime and anywhere. In order to prevent lack of oxygen at night, Zhou took the inferior stone pickaxe he had just replaced and walked diagonally above the stone gate. I dug into the sloping roof for about half an hour. Until a small crack is drilled through. Let air seep in. If you can't leave too big a gap, the stone door will be in vain. After doing this, Zhou got into his sleeping bag and got ready to sleep. There is no time prompt from the system either. Zhou doesn't know what time it is now. Time during the day is precious. Go to bed early if you can at night. Make full use of your time during the day. Because of the sleeping bag, the sleeping conditions were pretty good. Many other people can only lie down on the floor and sleep. Zhou quickly spent his first night in this world. Early the next morning, Zhou was woken up by the heat. Open the world channel. Everyone else is saying it's cold. He wasn't cold, but was sweating all over when he got out of the sleeping bag. Zhou suspected that this was because his cave was located near a volcano and had geothermal heat. During the day, he could also smell a faint smell of sulfur in the air. Zhou put away the sleeping bag. When I came to the entrance of the cave, I listened for a while to make sure there was no sound of footsteps of beasts outside the door, then I pulled the latch and opened the door. The sky outside the door is already bright. Because the rainforest above his head blocked the sun, he didn't know what time it was. There is enough moisture in the air, and the air is also moist. Fresh dewdrops hung on the fern leaves nearby. The inferred time should be around 6 to 7 a.m. Today's temperature, 8 to 15 degrees. The weather is getting cooler, please add more clothes and be careful of wild beasts. A system prompt pops up in front of you. Zhou remembered that the system once reminded that in addition to dealing with ferocious beasts, you also have to be careful of natural disasters to survive here. In other words, natural disasters are also a type of survival challenge. If the temperature suddenly drops to extremely cold or extremely hot, people can't bear it and die. Pay more attention to stocking up on supplies such as quilts and water in the future. These survival supplies that can help survive extreme climates must be in the supply box. Maybe some people have already got it. Zhou didn't even see what the supply box looked like. Zhou habitually opened the regional channel and glanced at it, and Zhou was suddenly surprised. There are 327 people missing from the regional channel. On the first day, there were more than 300 missing. There are only 10,000 people in the entire district. It was a bit scary to see so few people on the first day. With a little emotion, Zhou took the stone pickaxe, carried the large sack on his back, and continued to set off. Zhou specially traded a thick study material yesterday. It's a serious study material, not that study material. Prehistoric creatures. Only took 2 berries. Zhou specifically looked up the information about giant veined dragonfly. The giant veined dragonfly is an arthropod with a slow flying speed of only 20 kilometers per hour. When converted, it takes 18 seconds to run 100 meters. It only takes Zhou 12 seconds to run 100 meters. The speed can completely destroy the giant dragonfly. Zhou followed yesterday's route and successfully found the berry forest. This time he had tools such as a pickaxe and a sack. I looked around, but there was no movement around. First, I packed a big bag and visually checked the number of about 70 or 80 pieces. I was just about to put it on my shoulders and carry it back. Suddenly there was a rapid flapping of wings. That giant veined dragonfly is indeed here again. Zhou is not afraid of it this time. The stone pickaxe he held in his hand was not a decoration. Zhou did not hide this time. He stood on the spot holding the stone pickaxe, staring at the giant veined dragonfly flying from the gaps in the leaves in the distance. This giant veined dragonfly also discovered Zhou at the same time. The giant veined dragonfly, which was originally going to eat the berries, suddenly changed its target and flew straight towards Zhou. The guillotine-like mouthparts open and close left and right, split into an opening, and assume an offensive posture. So aggressive. Zhou is very calm and has a very strong inner quality. Being able to face danger without fear. The flying speed of the giant dragonfly is very slow, and it has enough reaction time. Its attack weapon is just a mouthpart less than 10 centimeters, which is nothing scary in Zhou's opinion. As long as you are careful, there is almost no threat to him. The giant veined dragonfly flew closer and closer, and the sound of its wings became very harsh. Zhou Yi visually measured the distance between the two sides, raised the stone pickaxe in his hand high. Then it fell violently downward. The giant veined dragonfly is not very powerful. The thin shell structure of the body fell apart as soon as the first page of the manuscript was lifted. Zhou Yi added another stone pickaxe, and his head was smashed into pieces. Dead to the point of death. Two things appeared on the ground. Meat quality, normal. Elementary blood essence. What is bloodborne essence? Zhou Yi looked at the small bottle of red liquid that was sorted out by the system on the ground with curiosity in his eyes. No matter how much it is, put it into a sack first. Killed the giant veined dragonfly. Zhou Yi put the sack on his back, turned around and was about to leave. There was a sudden movement among the lush trees in the distance. The leaves shake rapidly. There was a swishing sound. The shaking frequency is very fast, and it seems that something is approaching here quickly. After Zhou Yi realized that something was wrong, he immediately got into the bushes nearby and lay down. Through the gaps in the grass, a huge bird appeared in Zhou Yi's field of vision. It is bigger than an ostrich, with two slender legs like steel bars, and is very powerful when running wildly. Its huge beak is shaped like a sharp iron hook, and its eyes are fierce and energetic. This is a terror bird. The ancestor of the ostrich was 3 meters tall. Weight 500 kilogram. Running speed reaches 90 kilometers per hour. It only takes 4 seconds to run 100 meters. It is a terrifying carnivore. Zhou Yi knew at one glance that he was no match. This terror bird, or terror bird as some would call it, stood near the berry grove. He looked around with hawk-like eyes, but found no prey around. So he lowered his head and gnawed all the corpses of giant veined dragonflies on the ground, then turned around and left. Zhou Yi, who was hiding under the grass, felt relieved. If this terrifying bird had gone crazy and rushed in just now, he would have died. I feel like I'm walking a tightrope every time I act. Be sure to mention the price of berries when you go back. The transaction cost is too high. After Zhou Yi returned to the stone cave, he found that sunlight just penetrated through a small crack cut from the top of the stone door yesterday. Lights up a small area on the ground. It made the originally dark stone cave a little brighter. Zhou Yi continued to open the world channel to shout about selling berries. He hopes to buy a handy weapon this time. But weapons are hard to buy. It's something rarer than berries. Zhou Yi keeps swiping the screen. There are 8 billion people in the world channel. He didn't trust anyone who didn't sell weapon-making scrolls. Fresh berries for weapon-making scroll. Fresh berries in exchange for weapon-making scrolls. Quote. Zhou Yi searched for a long time and found that no one was looking for him. So the price was changed to 10 fresh berries are exchanged for weapon-making scrolls. Keep brushing. Many people are coveting Zhou Yi's berries and send private messages to ask about the price. Ask him if he can sell it cheaper. Zhou Yi directly asked them to exchange for good things of equal value. Preferably metal pieces. Other things of practical value will do, too. Zhou Yi exchanged berries with a seller named and ran, and got soil excellent grade from the seller. Excellent grade soil can be used to grow crops, and can also speed up the ripening of seeds and shorten the ripening cycle. Some people exchanged iron pots with him. With an iron pot, you can drink boiling water. There is soil for growing vegetables. Zhou Yi then went out to replace wheat seeds. Purple cabbage seeds. Change the salt. Change to charcoal. Change spring water. Replace the fence. A meal of miscellaneous food cost another 20 berries. Zhou Yi first used fences to form a circle around the sunlit area in the cave. The scope of this circle is not large, only 2 or 3 square meters in size. Spread a layer of fine-grade soil inside. Plant the newly purchased wheat seeds and purple cabbage seeds into the soil. Then take out the spring water and pour some water into the soil. Wait for germination. Well, with wheat, maybe there will be a chance to eat bread next. Even if you can't eat bread, you can at least eat noodles and steamed buns. It's better than others having nothing to eat. Zhou Yi looked at this small vegetable garden and was filled with anticipation. At least in the next period of time, he will not starve to death. After working for a while, I felt a little hungry in my belly. Zhou Yi was going to make a lunch first. Put the newly purchased large iron pot on the shelf, and put the newly bought charcoal on the bottom shelf. Light it with a lighter. Put a pot of fresh mountain spring water in the pot. When the fire comes up and the big bubbles in the pot start to boil, just throw the meat of the giant veined dragonfly into the pot. When it's almost boiling, sprinkle a handful of salt on it. Make boiled meat slices and eat them. Cover the pot. Let it sit for about 10 minutes and pick up the meat. The meat soaked in salt exudes a meaty aroma. The index finger of the hooked person moved greatly. Only then did Joey remember that there was no plate to put it on. Come to think of it, others can't even eat, and he's still thinking of something to hold the meat with. The bold ones will be starved to death, and the timid ones will be starved to death. Take a piece of sharpened charcoal, put the meat on it and eat it. Served with fresh berries, this meal made Joey very happy. In the prehistoric era, when people were eating raw hair and drinking blood, they could have such a sumptuous lunch the next day. This is something that no one else would dare to think about. Many people in the World Channel are still going bankrupt just to buy a berry from him. Joey had already enjoyed the delicious food. Joey had a big appetite and finished a piece of meat quickly. There is one piece left in the pot. You can't help but eat the meat of the giant veined dragonfly, which is enough for 2 meals. Joey took out the remaining piece of meat from the pot. In this environment, it is not easy to keep things fresh without a refrigerator. Meat can only be made into bacon for preservation. Joey picked up the meat with wooden thorns, placed it on the still burning charcoal and smoked it. When making bacon, the smell of smoke in the cave was very strong. There is no ventilation here. In order to prevent you from choking on the smoke, Joey opened the stone door a crack to let the smoke smell out. Then take the stone pickaxe and go out. When I came to the primeval forest, I found a piece of dry land and dug it with a stone pickaxe. Start making traps! ! Joey plans to make a simple trap pit. A pit about 2 meters deep and less than 1 square meter. The purpose is to trap some baby dinosaurs. His trainer has been upgraded to the next level and needs to tame a dinosaur that has just learned to walk. This pit is specially reserved for young dinosaurs. Joey also had a point in choosing to dig a hole here, because he found some obvious dinosaur paw prints nearby, indicating that there were dinosaurs nearby. I dug for about half an afternoon. The hole was finally dug. Put a layer of leaves on top and simply cover it. Not to mention dinosaurs, even if people come, they will fall down if they are not careful. The trap is ready. Joey wiped the sweat from his forehead. Look at the sky, it's still early. So I picked up the stone pickaxe and prepared to go to the berry forest again. Joey moved forward along the route he marked last time. Before approaching the berry forest, the grass blades of a 2-meter-tall fern on the roadside swayed for a while. Joey immediately dodged into the bushes on the other side. Lie down and look carefully. After the grass blades shook for a while, a huge scorpion emerged from the grass blades. This scorpion is bigger than any scorpion ever seen on Earth. Opening a pair of huge iron pliers. This pair of iron pliers is 20 centimeters long, and the pliers are covered with hair and tiny barbs. A normal person's arm would probably be cut off if pinched by these pair of pliers. The jet black carapace reflects light and looks shiny. Seeing this big and mighty scorpion lying in the middle of the road, Joey remembered that someone had posted a photo of this thing on the World Channel yesterday. Giant lung scorpion. With a body length of 70 centimeters, it is dozens of times larger than the emperor scorpion, the largest species on Earth. Toxicity unknown. Just looking at his body shape and those huge pair of iron pliers, you can tell that this guy is not easy to mess with. But Joey is not afraid of him. People who have served in the military are generally not afraid of anything. But this scorpion blocked his way. It would be more troublesome to occupy the middle of this road. Joey originally planned to endure it and let the lung scorpion pass first. You can wait left and right. The scorpion seemed to be asleep, lying motionless in the middle of the road. Joey was impatient to wait. If you wait any longer, it will get dark. Everyone knows how terrifying it is to stay in the primeval forest after dark. Joey walked directly out of the grass carrying a stone pickaxe. Joey's movement obviously disturbed the lung scorpion. It immediately raised 2 huge iron tongs. 2 tiny eyes flashed with fierce light. It regarded Zhou Yi as an intruder who had offended its territory, and rushed towards Zhou Yi with pliers raised. Zhou Yi was not panicked. The long scorpion is not very fast. Although its pincers look scary, they have to be clamped on the body to show its power. Just keep a good distance so he doesn't get caught. Zhou Yi waved the stone pickaxe, and before Long Scorpion's iron pincers caught him, he waved the stone pickaxe with all his strength. Knock on Long Scorpion's back. I didn't expect that the scorpion's carapace was very hard. As soon as the pickaxe went down, Zhou Yi felt his arm go numb. Poor quality pickaxes can kill people. Long Scorpion was also knocked dizzy by a stone pickaxe. The fierce aura he had just now faded away. After tasting the power of the stone pickaxe, he quickly turned around. It disappeared into the grass leaves on the side. When Zhou Yi saw Long Scorpion running away, he didn't have the courage to chase him. Bypassing the territory of the Long Scorpion and continuing forward. After finding the berry forest, quickly pick berries. Zhou Yi found that he could collect berries faster. It seems that my strength has increased. I wonder if it was his misunderstanding. After Zhou Yi filled a whole sack with berries, he took off his shirt and packed another sack. With 2 big bags in both hands, he carried them all the way back. Yesterday, he was still panting from exhaustion while carrying a large sack in both hands. I didn't feel very tired when I returned to the cave today with one hand and a sack in the other. It seems that my strength has really improved. After Zhou Yi returned to the cave, he just opened the world channel and found 2 sellers chatting with him privately. Both of these sellers sell weapon production drawings. Because before Zhou Yi left in the morning, he had been checking the news on the world channel, showing the production diagram of berries changing weapons. They probably saw it. That's why I wanted to trade with him. When Zhou Yi opened the world channel, the window message popped up. One of these 2 people is selling stone axe production plan. Different from the inferior stone pickaxe in Zhou Yi's hand, this stone axe is an ordinary grade stone axe. Both the sharpness and the feel are much better than inferior stone pickaxes. The system's grading of items is poor quality, ordinary level, excellent level, perfect level, epic level. Another seller is trading crescent scythe ordinary level production diagram. Both weapons are normal level. The difference is that the main materials of the crescent scythe are Moro dragon's teeth and some metal sheets. Morosaurus was a herbivorous dinosaur. Zhou Yi was worried that he would not be able to buy Morolong's teeth. The seller named Zhang Shun gave him an idea. You can use the search function, go to the world channel and search directly, you should be able to find it. Zhou Yikai discovered that there was a search function. Zhou Yi bought both the stone axe production diagram and the crescent sickle production diagram. Use the search box to search for Moro Dragon in the world channel. Sure enough, the system automatically filtered out some comments about Moro Dragon. Someone is actually selling Moro Dragon teeth inside. Zhou Yi sent a private message to the seller and offered to exchange berries with him. But what the other party wants is a stone. In the early days, many people did not have the stone door to make scrolls, so they bought or dug stones everywhere and used them to block the door. So Zhou Yi exchanged berries for stones from other people, and then exchanged the stones with the seller for more long teeth. In trading channel, I got a tooth. The length of this tooth is at least 20 centimeters. It is barb-shaped, and its surface is entirely made of hard calcium. Zhou Yi then searched for metal pieces. I found that the seller of metal sheets was still the seller named Zhao Qingkong. She only wants one thing, meat. Berries are also needed, and bloodborne essence is also needed. Metal sheets have a wide range of uses, so he replaces more at one time. After some haggling, Zhou Yi used 30 berries in exchange for 40 units of metal pieces. Zhou Yi remembered the seller named Zhao Qingkong. That night, Zhou Yi used 1 unit of Moro Dragon's tooth, 5 units of metal sheets and 3 units of wood to make a crescent sickle. This crescent sickle is nearly 2 meters long, and the blade is 1 meter long. Sweeping range is wide, easy to exert force. The lethality is enough. The cutting edge is very sharp and can easily pierce the target cortex. Zhou Yi thinks it should be no problem to deal with insect-like creatures such as giant veined dragonflies and lung scorpions. Another weapon, a stone axe, is about 1.2 meters long and is a powerful weapon. It requires great strength to exert its power. Facing the huge prehistoric creatures, Joey didn't think he had any advantage in terms of strength. The stone axe won't be of much use for the time being, so I'll leave it aside for now. Joey then wandered around the world channel again. Found someone selling lavender, so I bought some first. The smell of lavender can be used to repel poisonous insects and snakes. Before going to bed at night, Joey planted lavender into the vegetable garden. Let it use its smell to drive away some small insects that burrow into the stone holes from the cracks. Then he got into his sleeping bag. Night. Joey was lying in his sleeping bag, sleeping soundly. Suddenly, a dull roar came from outside the cave. The roar is like muffled thunder, making people's ears buzz. Joey had never heard of any beast that could make such a loud sound. It is guessed that dinosaurs appear near his cave. When Joey Jung was secretly worried, he heard the roar gradually go away. In the second half of the night, Joey didn't sleep much. It wasn't until dawn that Joey fell asleep. When he climbed out of the sleeping bag, he found that he was not sweating. He remembered that he woke up in a sweat on the first night. It seems that the temperature has indeed cooled down. Today is Joey's third day in the prehistoric world. System reminder. Today's temperature is 3 to 13 degrees. The weather is getting colder. Pay attention to cold protection and be careful of wild beasts. A message popped up in front of my eyes. Joey glanced at it and saw that the temperature dropped a few degrees. It is estimated that the temperature may continue to drop in the future, so you need to prepare some cotton-padded clothes and other items in advance to keep out the cold. At this time, the system pops up another message. The bases of all players in the area are now randomly checked, and the top 50 players will receive random rewards. After about a few seconds, a red box font popped up in front of Joey's eyes. Congratulations to player Joey for entering the top 50 rankings in Area 851. System rewards are being distributed. A large brown-green box appeared in front of Joey with a shutter sound. Entering the top 50 in the area was as expected by Joey. There are only 10,000 people in their area, so it is not difficult to enter the top 50 under his conditions. After opening the box, the system gave him 3 things. An Antarctic thermal underwear, a piece of flint, a scroll for making a fine-grade dagger. Joey's eyes lit up. All good things. Thermal underwear can keep out the cold. Joey put it on directly on the spot. The lighter in his hand was almost out of gas, and he could just replace it with a flint. Sophisticated daggers are also a good thing. But Joey took a look and found that it requires 3 units of sophisticated metal sheets to make it. He only had ordinary grade metal pieces in his hand, so he couldn't make them for the time being. So after Joey opened the world channel, he sent a private message to Zhao Qingkong and asked her if she had any high-quality metal sheets. Zhao Qingkong didn't reply immediately, he was probably busy. A message popped up in front of him again. Joey thought it was Zhao Qingkong who replied to him. Unexpectedly, the system actually announced the names of the top 50 players in Area 851. What's wrong with this system? It doesn't respect personal privacy at all. Joey complained and glanced at. His ranking is really high. Among the 851 and nearly 10,000 players in the entire area, it ranks 5th. This ranking is pretty much what he expected. He still has close to 200 berries in his hand, no joke. Joey couldn't help but scan forward curiously to see who was ranked above him. Shockingly, he discovered that the name, Zhao Qingkong, was above him, ranking 3rd. Zhao Qingkong and I are in the same district. Joey was stunned. Doesn't that mean the 2 people might be very close? The seller he often patronizes is actually near him, which can only be said to be a bit of a coincidence. What surprised Joey was that Zhao Qingkong lived a more prosperous life than him. He made his fortune selling berries. Zhao Qingkong probably made his fortune by selling metal sheets. Joey glanced up again, and the first person in line was an unknown person named Li Yan. After he only remembered the names of these 3 people, he closed the list. It's only been 3 days, so a temporary lead doesn't mean anything. It appears that the purpose of the system is to encourage competition. Distribute rewards to those at the top to encourage players behind to move forward. This is not a good sign. Resources are limited, so players compete with each other and inevitably fight each other. Zhou Yi took a look at the message, but Zhao Qingkong still didn't reply to him. Fine-grade daggers are temporarily unavailable. So he took the sack, the flint, the stone pickaxe tied around his waist, the crescent sickle on his back, and left the cave. I plan to continue picking more berries today. After Zhou Yi went out, he continued along the old road to the berry forest. Just after walking not far, we met the long scorpion again. Long scorpion stood in the middle of the road with its iron pincers open. Zhou Yi didn't coddle it last time, and he wouldn't coddle it this time. Use, tame, on it. System, tame, target failed. The result was indeed a failure. This was regarded as a great shame by Long Scorpion. He immediately opened his 2 iron pincers and roared towards Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi waved the crescent sickle behind his back. It was so fierce that it slashed down. The sharp blade of the 2-meter-long crescent scythe penetrated directly through the back carapace of the Long Scorpion. The hooked blade tip hooked forward, destroying the Long Scorpion's brain center from the inside. The Long Scorpion was so straight that it was dead. A piece of meat was left on the spot, normal level. There were no bloodborne spirits like last time. Zhou Yi picked up the meat on the ground and threw it into the sack. Killing a Long Scorpion is not too difficult for him, and he has nothing to be proud of. In the dangerous prehistoric era, he was still at the bottom of the food chain. There are scorpions, which means there is water nearby. According to Prehistoric Creatures, the Long Scorpion is a stream scorpion and likes to move around areas near water sources. Zhou Yi walked around the territory of the Long Scorpion and found no water source. However, he found a scorpion nest under the root of a fern. There are several young scorpions hidden in the nest. Zhou Yi used tame on these little scorpions. One of the little scorpions was successfully tamed. But the scorpion was too small and could not understand any of his commands after being tamed, so he simply let it go. Zhou Yi continued to wander along the territory of the Long Scorpion. A bunch of mushrooms were found under a tall old tree. I picked some casually and threw them into my backpack. Zhou Yi walked around Long Scorpion's territory, not daring to go too deep. If you accidentally break into the territory of other beasts, the consequences will be very terrible. In the virgin forest, Zhou Yi did not dare to walk randomly. He always followed a fixed route. Just as he was about to return to the original path, a sound of running water suddenly reached his ears. There is a river nearby. And it's very close to here. This discovery made Zhou Yi very excited, but also very vigilant. Zhou Yi looked around cautiously, gently pushing aside the grass blades with the crescent sickle in his hand, and only dared to bend his body and keep approaching the water source. The closer you get, the more you can hear the sound of rushing water. Zhou Yi endured his temper and slowly moved forward step by step. After opening a thick fern leaf, Zhou Yi finally saw a stream rushing down from the mountain. At the same time, what jumped into his field of vision was a huge monster crawling on the shore. There is a monster lying on the shore. The dark scales cover the back like a hard carapace. The head is fully 4 meters long, and the length of its huge mouth is definitely more than 3 meters. The sharp teeth arranged closely in the upper and lower rows make people shudder. This reptile monster with a dark body all over is Deinosuchus. It is more than 10 meters long and weighs 5 tons. It feeds on dinosaurs and some beasts weighing 2 to 3 tons, and has a bite force of 10 tons. Zhou Yi's pupils shrank. He didn't expect that he would encounter Deinosuchus here. This thing is specially designed to eat dinosaurs. Was the overlord during the Cretaceous. Because living in a river, there are no absolute natural enemies. Not even the Tyrannosaurus rex dared to mess with it. It is said that Deinosuchus was so fierce that it even ate Tyrannosaurus rex. The bite force of 10 tons is incredible. One bite can crush a dinosaur's skull. However, although Deinosuchus has strong and invincible attack power, its movements are relatively cumbersome. Often attack wild animals drinking water by the river. And it only eats large beasts. In its eyes, meatless, chicken ribs, like Zhou Yi, are probably not enough to fill its teeth. As long as you keep a certain distance from it, you'll be fine. Since he accidentally broke into the territory of Deinosuchus, Zhou Yi did not intend to disturb it and was about to leave silently. Before leaving, he glanced out of the corner of his eye. Suddenly I caught a glimpse of a supply box lying on the bank of the river. This made Zhou Yi, who was about to leave, stop. Supply box. Zhou Yi carefully confirmed that it was indeed a supply box. Unfortunately, the box was located on the bank of the river, less than 10 meters away from the Deinosuchus. With its size, it can be hit by shaking its head. This made Zhou Yi feel embarrassed. He would feel regretful if he was asked to give up the supply box he finally came across and leave like this. The speed of Deinosuchus is not fast, only 17 kilometers per hour. This is Zhou Yi's opportunity. It's best for Deinosuchus to walk away and stay away from the supply box, so that he can take advantage of the opportunity to take action. So Zhou Yi squatted down and observed secretly first. This Deinosuchus has been lying on the shore, its tail swaying back and forth, looking lazy. He doesn't look very hungry. Zhou Yi waited for a while and found that it didn't seem to have any intention of moving around. This is difficult to handle. Zhou Yi didn't want to expose himself. So he decided to leave for a while and come back later. Zhou Yi walked towards the lower reaches of the stream, planning to look for traces of dinosaur cubs. Near water sources, herbivorous dinosaurs will often visit. If you are lucky, meeting a baby dinosaur can also improve its trainer level. The stream becomes wider as it goes downstream. Gradually it evolved into a river. Zhou Yi came to a river bank, took a pot of water. I found that the water was not drinkable because there were a bunch of microorganisms in it. The water upstream is relatively clean, but when it reaches the downstream it is polluted. As soon as Zhou Yi finished fetching water, he found a saber-toothed tiger jumping out from the other side of the river. He was so frightened that he quickly got up. This thing is the biggest killer of mankind, and its threat level is far greater than that of Deinosuchus. The jumping ability is terrible, and it can jump to the other side of the river with one leap. His running speed, attack power, and sensitivity far exceed those of ordinary people. Can climb trees and enter water. Once discovered, it is a dead end. Zhou Yi lay on the ground. Fortunately, this saber-toothed tiger only came to drink water and left after drinking the water. Zhou Yi waited for a while and made sure that the saber-toothed tiger on the other side was far away before he dared to leave. Erase the safety marks left along the way on the spot. This area will become a very dangerous area from now on. There are ferocious beasts lying in ambush by the river. I don't know how many pairs of eyes are secretly staring at the animals that lower their heads to drink water. Once a flaw is revealed, the sickle of death will swipe across your neck. Soon after Zhou Yi left where he was, in front of the river where he left, a giant python appeared faintly. After shaking in the water, he disappeared. Zhou Yi returned to the territory of Deinosuchus from the lower reaches. This is definitely the boldest thing he has ever done in his life. Stay at the edge of a Deinosuchus's territory and wait for it to leave. The Deinosuchus still maintained the same posture as before leaving, without moving. Zhou Yi has more patience than patience. It was not until 3 p.m. that Deinosuchus swam back into the river. I waited for another 20 minutes or so until there was no movement in the water. Zhou Yikai was willing to show up, crawling close to the ground. The box is on the shore. This is the territory of Deinosuchus, and those large predators should not dare to approach here. Zhou Yi kept staring at the stream. Until he got close to the box, Deinosuchus still didn't come out of the water. Zhou Yi picked up the supply box without hesitation, turned around and ran away quickly. Because I am afraid of rushing into the territory of other beasts. Zhou Yi didn't dare to run very far. Hearing that there was no movement behind him, he found a fern blade and hid it in it. Zhou Yi waited for a while. Make sure that Deinosuchus really didn't notice him. Then he breathed a sigh of relief. My heartbeat just now definitely exceeded 200 beats. Fortunately, Deinosuchus didn't catch up. There are 3 items in the supply box. Meat premium grade X2. Water purifier X1. Compass X1. It's all good stuff. With a water purifier, you can buy dirty water from others and use the purifier to turn it into clean, purified water. Sell it again. Earn the difference. Zhou Yi packed everything in sacks. With a compass, you won't be afraid of getting lost. Look at the time, there is still some time before dark. Zhou Yi went to the berry forest again. Packed a sack of berries back. After returning to the cave, Zhou Yi put down the sack. Today is such a good harvest day. The bacon hanging on the wall is also edible. There are 2 pieces of fine-grade meat in the sack. First tear off a piece. Cut it. Pour it into the pot, add boiling water and cook. Sprinkle with salt and eat boiled meat. Add a small piece of bacon slices. The smoked and dried meat slices are completely infused with flavor. It's very chewy in the mouth. These 2 meals of meat made Zhou feel happy. Zhou hung the remaining half of the fine-grade meat on the fence of the vegetable garden. Prepare to expose it in the sun tomorrow and dry it into dried meat to eat. The remaining bacon that was not finished was hung on the wall for further eating. After eating, Zhou easily poured out the water in the pot where the meat slices were cooked. In prehistoric times, the World Channel was full of people who couldn't drink water. If others knew that Zhou cooked the meat directly with water, he would throw it away immediately after the meat was boiled. I guess I want to die. When Zhou went to pour water just now, he had an illusion. It seems that my strength has grown again. A large pot of water weighs 10 kilograms. He didn't seem to have much trouble holding it. Zhou couldn't help but guess whether it had something to do with him eating meat. But if you only eat 2 meals of meat, your strength will not increase so fast. Fast enough that you can notice it clearly. At this time, Zhou opened the World Channel. He found that Zhao Qingkong had left him a message. Zhao Qingkong. Okay, I want fine-grade meat. Before Zhou left the cave in the morning, he asked Zhao Qingkong if he had any high-quality metal pieces. Zhao Qingkong indeed has it in his hand, but her condition is, exchange for high-quality meat. Zhou only had 1 unit of fine-grade meat left in his hand, but what he needed were 3 units of fine-grade metal pieces. So Zhou went up first and negotiated the price with her. I used 1 unit of fine-grade meat to carry 30 berries, and exchanged it with her for 3 pieces of fine-grade metal. The news about Zhao Qingkong came late. You are quite honest, so I'll switch with you. Then Zhou discovered that his trading platform had extra metal sheets premium grade X3. Zhou immediately sent 1 high-quality meat and 30 berries to Zhao Qingkong. Zhou thinks Zhao Qingkong is pretty good, and metal sheets are a scarce resource in the early stage. The fact that the other party can easily take out high-quality metal pieces means that she must have a lot of them in her hand. Maybe we can establish a long-term cooperative relationship. Use the berries in your hand to trade with her for metal pieces. So Zhou took the initiative to apply for a friend to Zhao Qingkong. The application was approved immediately. Zhou sent a message. Hello, we are in the same district. Zhao Qingkong also replied, Hello. Zhou, please allow me to ask one more question, why do you collect high-quality meat? Zhao Qingkong, of course it's for food. Zhao Qingkong, it can also increase your strength. Sure enough, Zhou got the answer from Zhao Qingkong. Eating meat can increase your strength. This growth is visible to the naked eye, not a slow process. It means that he will have the capital to compete with these prehistoric giants in the future. Zhou replied, Thank you. Zhao Qingkong also replied, You're welcome. The chat ended happily. Although the answer has been obtained, the specific increase is still uncertain. Zhou decided to test his own strength. It's easy to test your strength. The unit of stone he exchanged from the seller weighed almost 50 kilograms each. When Zhou was in the army, his maximum bench press weight was about 90 kilograms. Things weighing more than 100 kilograms were lifted casually. Now he plans to try it with these stones. Take off your clothes, use your arms. Lifting 4 stones from the ground in a row feels effortless. You know, this is already a weight of 200 kilograms. Another stone was added, 250 pounds, easily. Add another stone, 300 pounds. Zhou finally felt the difficulty. I guess it won't be able to handle it if I add one more. Call. Zhou put down all 6 stones in one go. 300 caddies flat lift. According to his usual strength training in the army, the force of a punch is equivalent to 3 times that of holding both hands flat. In other words, according to Zhou's own estimation, he can now punch almost 900 kilograms of force with one punch. This strength is already quite terrifying. It has almost reached the limit of human beings, and a punch of the heavyweight boxing champion often does not reach 900 pounds. The force of a saber-toothed tiger's palm strike is about 1 to 2 tons. Of course he wouldn't be able to bear this power if it hit Zhou. But a 900-pound punch hit the saber-toothed tiger, and the saber-toothed tiger also felt uncomfortable. What's more, Yi doesn't know how to punch, he can use weapons to maximize his power. It is an indisputable fact that Tyson cannot defeat a tiger with his bare hands. But what if Tyson was given a handy big knife? The growth in strength gradually gave Yi a better understanding of his own strength. Of course he doesn't think he can fight a saber-toothed tiger hand to hand now. Even if he holds the crescent scythe, he will still be delivering express to the saber-toothed tiger. Because this guy doesn't like to play head-on confrontation, but likes to sneak attack from behind. When you expose your back to a tiger, you are not far from death. What's more, the saber-toothed tiger not only has strength, run, jumping ability, coupled with the feline reaction nerves. Together they form a terrifying monster. The strength test is over, next is the speed test. Yi opened the World Channel and searched for stopwatch. Among 8 billion people, there will always be someone who carries something unexpected. In the end, Yi actually found it. Someone is really selling watches. Yi spent a few berries in exchange for a stopwatch. Then I found a flat area near the cave. Conduct a 100-meter test. The moment he pressed the stopwatch, Yi's legs used force and he jumped out violently. During the extreme run, he could clearly feel that his running speed was faster than before. When you reach the end point, press it again. 10 seconds 03. Although this number is a bit watery, because the 100 meters was measured by his own steps. One step is 60 centimeters, and 167 steps is 100 meters. It's not necessarily accurate, I can only say it's about the same. In the primitive era, Yi could only think of using this method to test his running speed. Next is the neurological response test. The number of round-trip hops in 1 second. Yi measured 3 groups, each group lasted 3 seconds, and finally averaged it. It turns out that I can jump back and forth 2.5 times in 1 second. The last thing is the body's endurance under extreme conditions. This is also simple. When he feels strenuous, he lifts 6 stones to see how long he can hold on. As a result, within about 1 minute, he began to feel obvious pain in his arm, which was unbearable. Someone had to put down the stone. Finally, Yi came to a surprising conclusion. Eating meat can enhance physical fitness in all aspects. Moreover, eating high-quality meat strengthens the body more than ordinary grade meat. Yi has now decided. Starting from tomorrow, I will eat meat for 3 meals a day. Afterwards, Yi returned to the cave. Look at the seeds you planted in the vegetable garden. Moistened by the fine soil, they have begun to pull out sprouts from the soil. It will take some time before he grows up to what he looks like. Yi opened the World Channel again and exchanged organic fertilizer with others. In order to eat noodles or even bread as soon as possible, Yi used the exchanged fertilizer to fertilize the soil. Later, I went to the trading platform to exchange for some spring water and charcoal. Then use a water purifier to filter all the spring water again. Stored in a stone cave. Later, Yi went to search for meat, fine grade, and quilts respectively. I found that there were not many people selling meat. After all, meat is food and can be eaten. Most people would not choose to sell it at this time. Fine grade meat is more difficult to obtain, and almost no one sells it. Someone is selling it, and the conditions offered are outrageous. It takes 10 tons of clean spring water to replace it. Yi should not be taken advantage of. There are people selling ordinary grade meat, but all they ask for is water. Yi also has some ordinary grade meat. If you buy it too early, there is no way to preserve it and it will go bad easily. There will definitely be people selling this kind of thing in the market for a long time, so don't be in a hurry. As for the types of quilts, there are many types. A large quilt made of pure cotton, guaranteed quality. You won't feel cold all winter long. I want it privately. The silk quilt has my sister's body temperature on it. If you want, please contact me. Upload photo, silk quilt. Thick 100% pure cotton quilt with goose down, from an honest dealer. Quote. Yi was dazzled by the variety of quilts on the World Channel. Finally, I chose 4 relatively reliable sellers and bought 4 quilts. But most quilts are secondhand. All Yi looked for were quilts covered by girls. If you get into the bed that a grown man has got under, you will always feel a little uncomfortable psychologically. Since you can only choose secondhand quilts, it is more acceptable for girls who love cleanliness to use quilts that cover them. In the trading platform, 4 fragrant quilts have been sent by the system. Zhou took it over and said, 2 pavements and 2 covers. There are all kinds of body odors when you smell them. They are all delicious. There is no big guy who picks his feet and pretends his sister is cute and sends messages to trick him. 4 quilts, plus sleeping bags. There shouldn't be any problems with such a combination to survive the coming cold weather, right? Zhou then discovered something good on the World Channel. Speakers in all areas. If you buy this thing, you can shout it all over the world. If you want to buy anything, put the transaction conditions and everyone can see it. Transactions will come automatically. Zhou first bought 2 speakers for all regions. Use one first. Proclaim on the World Channel. Berries are exchanged for high-quality meat, come with integrity. Keep the remaining one for later use. Zhou then took out the roll of premium-grade dagger production drawings that was rewarded by the system before, and brought the fine-grade metal sheet X3 that he exchanged from Zhao Qingkong, plus wood. Successfully made a dagger. As long as you have the materials and the scroll, it can be synthesized automatically. A white light flashed before his eyes, and a dagger with beast patterns carved on its surface appeared in front of him. There is also a dagger sheath embedded on the outside of the dagger, which looks very delicate. Zhou pulled out the dagger sheath, and a dagger about 30 centimeters in length appeared. The cutting edge is so sharp that it reflects light, and there are obvious polishing marks on the cutting edge. It is absolutely easy for such a dagger to pierce the fur of a beast without scale armor. After Zhou looked at it, he put down the dagger and inserted it into his waist. This dagger can be regarded as his trump card. When fighting, take out a dagger and suddenly strike the opponent with a knife. The lethality can be imagined. At this time, someone in the regional channel suddenly sent him a private message, which caught Zhou's attention. He usually trades on the World Channel. Regional channels are generally rarely watched. The person who sent him the message was a person named Li Yan. Zhou remembered this person. This person ranked first in their 851 area. Hello brother, I want to set up a Tinder alliance. Now I sincerely invite you to join. Are you interested? Seeing this news, Zhou didn't even think about it. Replied, not interested. Li Yan asked, don't you think about it again? Zhou, I won't consider it. Most of those who join the alliance are those who have had a rough time and can no longer survive, so they consider joining the alliance to eat and drink. But once you get in, your time will definitely not be in vain. Once you no longer have any use value, you will be kicked away immediately. Zhou is completely self-sufficient and does not need to consider which alliance he will join. Moreover, in this kind of place, there is intrigue and greed, and it is easy for someone to stab you. Therefore, he would not even consider it. Seeing how decisively he refused, Li Yan also said harshly. In prehistoric times, humans were weak animals at the bottom of the food chain. It is the most tragic idea to try to survive here on one's own strength. After saying that, the person closed the private chat window. Zhou agreed with the first half of his last sentence. Think of the saber-toothed tiger, Deinosuchus, these terrible beasts. Humans are indeed at the bottom of the food chain. But others can't survive. It doesn't mean that Zhou can't do it. Don't forget that he is still an animal trainer. I also found the answer to the version that eating meat can strengthen your body. Li Yan's words reminded Zhou. Zhou opened the regional channel and looked at it. I found that there are actually quite a few people joining the Tinder alliance in the regional channel. Many people who spoke on the regional channel had the words, Fire Alliance, in front of their names. Correspondingly, there is another one called Hope Alliance. Zhou guessed that Li Yan took advantage of his position at the top of the system rankings to launch a wave of calls to join the alliance, and others would naturally respond to him. The person who established the Hope Alliance was a man named Wang Ming. This guy was second last time. At this time, in the regional channel, people from the Tinder Alliance and the Hope Alliance seem to be divided into 2 groups. They are both posting messages to attract people, and each is grabbing people in the channel, just like a pyramid scheme organization. Some people joined and some didn't. Those who joined these 2 alliances probably account for about 1/3 of the number of speakers. Zhou estimated that not many people actually joined, and most people were waiting and watching. Zhou Yi didn't understand the reason why these two people formed an alliance. But he was sure that it was definitely not an act of kindness. Zhou Yi observed silently for a while. At this time, someone was sending a message on the regional channel. He found a supply box in the wild. You can exchange 2 units of stones with him for the coordinates of the supply box. 2 units of stone are exchanged for a supply box. No matter how you look at it, this is a good deal. Zhou Yi chatted with him privately, exchanged berries for messages, and asked him if he would exchange. This person said decisively, change. Zhou Yi became wary. What if you give me false coordinates? This man named Yao Jilin immediately swore on the spot. The liar will kill the whole family. Zhou Yi traded him a berry and got a coordinate. We don't have a map, so he can only describe in detail the specific location of the coordinates and the surrounding landforms. Zhou Yi roughly understood that the location was near the virgin forest. He is going to take a look tomorrow. Everyone else in the regional channel was talking about terrain. Some say he discovered the sea. This is an island, we are on an island. Was refuted by a bunch of people. Fart, is there a tropical rain forest on the island? Brothers and Jime, I didn't lie to you, this is really an island, I can see the coast. Have you finished walking around the island? You can see the coast, maybe just the peninsula, do you understand? Dads, please give me something to eat, I'm starving. Quote. Zhou Yi watched these people arguing back and forth without coming to a conclusion. He took a look at the number of people on the regional channel and found that it had dropped from 10,000 to more than 8,000. I couldn't help but be secretly surprised that in just 3 days, more than 1,000 people had already gone offline quietly. A large number of people die every day on this island. It's just that they didn't notice it. Still, one cannot underestimate the hidden dangers on the island. Well, needing a map is critical. Zhou Yi shouted on the regional channel. Whoever has a map can come to me to trade. Then Zhou Yi turned off the regional channel. I got into the sleeping bag sandwiched between 4 quilts and fell asleep comfortably. The 4th day into the unknown world. Zhou Yi woke up with an unusually warm feeling. The quilt was so comfortable that he didn't even want to get up. No, you still have to get up quickly. It's far from time to lie down. Zhou Yi quickly got up from the bed. System report. Today's temperature is 1 to 9 degrees Celsius, and the temperature continues to drop. Please pay attention to cold protection and be careful of wild animals. The temperature dropped by about 1 degree compared to yesterday. Zhou Yi pushed open the stone door. I took a look at the trap pit I dug yesterday. Before I even got close, I heard a coo sound. Zhou Yi quickly approached. The grass leaves covering the trap were indeed trampled into pieces. A pheasant fell into the trap pit. This chicken breed is a little different from common chicken breeds. The hair is more colorful, but it's still clearly a chicken. Zhou Yi jumped directly and quickly fished out the chicken. After some observation, I found that it was a hen. So he immediately took the chicken back to the cave. Prepare to be kept in captivity. Let it lay eggs. This was a pheasant. After being caught in the cave, it jumped up and down and refused to obey. Zhou Yi immediately used tame on it. I tried more than 10 times in a row without success. This pheasant is wild and difficult to tame. He was so angry that he had no choice but to lock it in a cave. Anyway, no matter how hard it is, it can't fly out. Zhou Yi opened the world channel. Yesterday he used a loudspeaker to shout, and it really worked. The group of 8 billion is still very broad, and most people usually look at it without saying anything. As soon as he shouted through the loudspeaker, he received dozens of private messages in one night. They are all willing to trade high-grade meat for berries. But most of these people have no good intentions and come to him to trade with the idea of taking advantage. Zhou Yi was not stupid either. He finally screened the news. Exchanged 50 berries for sophisticated meat x3. Zhou Yi set up the charcoal and lit it with flint. Get ready to make barbecue in the morning. After the charcoal burned, Zhou Yi took out his dagger and grill the piece of meat you just bought on the dagger. The other 2 pieces of meat were skewered with branches and hung over the flame for smoking. It will also be made into bacon and hung up later. While Zhou Yi was grilling meat, he turned on the regional channel. Yesterday, he sent a message on the regional channel to find someone to trade maps to see if there was any response. When Zhou Yi posted the news last night, Many people recognized it. Some people call him the berry boss. Said he specializes in wholesale selling berries. Someone else asked him if he could send it to his home with free shipping. Joey has been selling berries on the World Channel and has long been famous. Joey didn't take these people's teasing to heart at all, and only paid attention to a few private messages sent to him by others. The first one was sent to him by Wang Ming, the founder of the Hope Alliance, hoping to win him over to join the Hope Alliance. Joey did not refuse immediately, but asked him instead, "What is your purpose in creating the Hope Alliance?" Wang Ming: "A person's strength is limited, only by uniting can we have a chance to survive." Joey: "Tell the truth." Wang Ming: "Hire more men to do the work. How about I share half of the profits with you when you come?" This person really looks up to him. The profit is divided in half. It is impossible for Joey to believe such nonsense after hearing it. But he didn't want to form a hostile relationship with Wang Ming. He declined directly. The second message was that someone actually got the map and came to him to trade berries. This man was not polite and asked him for 30 berries at a fixed price. And never make a counteroffer. This person is quite courageous. The map is very important to Joey. Not to mention 30 berries, even 50 berries, he still has to get it. In the end, Joey successfully obtained the map of Area 851. The third message was sent to him by a person named Zheng Pengfei. He said that his sister was sick and suffered from severe water shortage, and asked Joey if he could give him a berry. This person also attached a photo. The photo shows a girl about 15 or 16 years old, who is so weak that she is lying on a straw mat, her eyes are closed tightly, and her lips are dry and cracked. Joey did not reply to him immediately. Many of those who send such messages are scammers. Maybe his sister was just pretending to be sick. It's also possible that the person in the photo isn't his sister at all. Joey pondered for a moment and traded 2 berries and a bamboo tube of water to Zheng Pengfei. If this Zheng Pengfei deceived him. From now on, if anyone sends him such messages, they will all be blocked. Zheng Pengfei was overjoyed and kept sending messages saying, "Thank you. Thank you for saving my sister." Joey didn't reply anything and closed the chat window. Closed the door of the cave and continued to pick fruits in the berry forest today. Joey opened the newly acquired map and took a look. The supply box location that Yao Jilin mentioned is a bit far away, so I don't plan to go there yet. When Joey saw the map, his heart suddenly became excited. His location is really on a desert island. It's not a peninsula, it's an island. On the coast of the island, the closest point to the mainland is several hundred meters away. Don't underestimate this short distance of a few hundred meters, it's as difficult as a natural chasm. This is the sea. The beasts in the sea are more terrifying than those on land. Although it was only a few hundred meters away, Joey was the first to express his admiration for anyone who dared to swim across it. The island covers an area of approximately several hundred square kilometers. The area is definitely not small. From the map, most of the island is virgin forest, and a small part is plains and mountains. Surviving on the plains is no less difficult than near the virgin forest. The plains are more open, making it easier for beasts to take advantage of their speed. Compared with short sprinters like humans and real sprinters in nature, the gap is the gap between hunters and prey. In addition, there is an active volcano on one side of the island. Based on the location on the map and the direction, Joey found that his cave was right next to the volcano. Every day when he sleeps, he can feel the heat under his feet. According to the markings on the map, this volcano is at risk of erupting. Once the volcano erupts, it is estimated that most of the island will be flooded. Joey won't think so much for the time being, and let's live the present moment first. I'm not going anywhere today. I'm going to carry berries first. He knew there were berries in the primeval forest. If the location of the berries is accidentally known to others, he will not be able to enjoy it exclusively. Joey didn't want others to share this berry forest with him. This is his separate market. If there is someone who can provide unlimited berries like him, there will be competition. Therefore, he must guard this berry forest. Joey followed the old road and came to the vicinity of the berry forest. As soon as I arrived, I noticed something was wrong. Someone came over today. This man is a young man, probably around 18 or 19 years old. He looked at the large berry forest in front of him with greed. This berry forest has been regarded by Zhou as his own private property. Do not allow others to covet you. Seeing the greedy look on the young man's face, Zhou scolded him rudely. Attracted the attention of young people. Zhou glared at him fiercely and told him to get lost. The young man clearly saw the long crescent-shaped sickle on Zhou back and the dagger on his waist. With a smile on his face, the young man walked over as if nothing had happened. Brother, if I don't do anything else, I'll just pick 2 fruits and leave immediately. Zhou immediately took off the sickle from his back, and the young man stopped immediately. Zhou only uttered one word. Roll. Seeing Zhou cold eyes, the young man didn't want to talk to him at all, so he rolled away. After the young man left, Zhou Kai put down the sickle, took out the dagger and quickly cut the berry leaves. Start packing the berries with a handful of sacks. While Zhou was packing the berries, he looked around to prevent the young man from leaving again. The young man was empty-handed, so he probably didn't have the guts to come back. Suddenly, there was a swishing sound from the trees ahead. The leaves of the tree trembled rapidly. Then a huge terrifying bird jumped out. Zhou was shocked. I didn't even have time to pick up the crescent sickle on the ground. The moment he saw the terror bird, he only had time to pick up the dagger and turn around and run away. The 3-meter-tall terror bird can walk as fast as flying and can cover 8 or 9 meters in one step. The sharp beak is like a hook. The moment he saw Zhou Lin, he locked onto him and ran straight towards the target. Zhou had been picking fruits in the berry forest for so many days, and he had already thought of how to deal with the crisis. He found a nearby big tree that could be hugged by one person, and climbed up with nimble hands and feet. He had already simulated countless ways to approach a crisis in his mind. He had climbed this tree 5 or 6 times, and now he was extremely skilled in climbing up. When the terror bird rushed over, Zhou had already climbed to a height of more than 10 meters. The terror bird hit a tree, knocking itself to pieces. Standing under the tree, a pair of fierce eyes stared at Zhou. It can't reach this height even if it jumps. The terror bird cannot climb trees, and will only leave after pacing under the tree for a while. Zhou stood on a branch and observed the terrifying bird. The terror bird did not go far, but walked not far away. I don't know when a piece of fresh meat was placed on the ground. Open the bird's beak to pick up the meat and give it a sharp gouge. After chewing it 3 or 2 times, it completely devoured the meat and swallowed it in one gulp. Zhou had to eat such a large piece of meat in 2 meals, which was not enough for this guy to eat in 1 meal. The terror bird quickly left here after eating the meat. Zhou stood on the tree and waited for a while. After confirming that the terror bird had left, he got down from the tree. He was sure that he didn't bring any meat when he came. Why was there a piece of meat on the ground just now? Zhou began to think deeply, and soon he figured out the reason. The young man threw it there on purpose. The purpose is to lure the terror birds over. Use the horror bird to kill him and the berry forest becomes his own. After figuring out the reason, Zhou's eyes suddenly turned cold. I just regret that he was too soft-handed and could not swing the sickle fast enough. No knife could kill him. At this time, a figure flashed through the trees in front, and the young man appeared again. There was a look of shock on his face, as if he was wondering how Zhou could still stand here properly. Then he immediately changed his expression. Brother, I heard something like a monster rushing over just now. Are you okay? The young man asked with a worried look on his face. Zhou wanted to wipe his neck with a knife at this time, but the expression on his face was very calm. Smiling faintly, I'm fine. I was too abrupt just now. We should help each other through this difficult situation. The berries here do not belong to me. You can pick them if you want. Zhou said. When the young man heard this, he was immediately overjoyed. Without even saying a word of thanks, he immediately stepped forward and picked the fruit. There are so many fruits that I can't put them in my hands. Zhou threw a sack over. Use this to pretend. The young man's face lit up, he sneered in his heart, and secretly cursed a fool. Stuffing berries one by one into the sack. I don't even know when Zhou left. At this time, the leaves in the distance suddenly shook violently. A familiar sound came, then a huge terrifying bird jumped out. The young man was so frightened that he almost peed. He also wanted no more fruits in the sack. Quickly ran to the nearby tree. The prey is right in front of you, how can the terror bird miss the opportunity a second time? A pair of powerful long legs exploded, with speed and strength far exceeding that of humans. Seeing that he couldn't run away at all, the young man drew a dagger from his back and ready to rush forward and fight the terror bird. Ah, what happened to this dead bird? This beast. Zhou only heard a few screams coming from under the tree. The number of people in the regional channel is -1. The young man was only focused on picking up fruits and didn't even notice the meat Zhou stuffed under the sack. Zhou repaid him in the same way. The terror birds quickly devoured the young man's body, not even sparing Zhou's meat that was still in the sack. It caught it in its mouth and then ran away quickly. As soon as the scary bird ran away, Zhou jumped down from the tree. I quickly cleaned up the surrounding areas. Then quickly start loading the fruits. Fill 3 large sacks at a time and carry them directly back to the cave. Chapter 11. Zhou transported the berries back to the cave, and when he came back for the second time, I found a giant veined dragonfly staying on the spot. The giant veined dragonfly was eating the broken corpse of the young man just now. Zhou did not drive away the dragonfly with giant veins. This dragonfly can help him clean up all the remaining blood here. After the dragonfly was full, it finally flew away. Zhou immediately opened 3 large sacks and began to pack fruits. Zhou didn't do anything all morning today. I ran back and forth several times, carrying more than a dozen large sacks of berries. He was so tired that he was sweating profusely, until the entire cave was filled with berries. At noon, Zhou ate some high-quality dried meat dried yesterday, and bacon hanging on the wall. Boil a pot of mushroom soup with boiling water and add 2 berries. Had a hearty meal. After finishing lunch, Zhou took a look at the vegetable garden. After several days of cultivation, vegetable seedlings have grown inside. Continue to water the vegetables. The captured pheasant actually squatted on his quilt and took a nap comfortably. Fortunately, it didn't poop all over the floor. If it poops where it shouldn't, Zhou will kill it and use it for soup. Zhou opened the world channel and bought a handful of rice. Lift the pheasant off the quilt and feed it some millet. Pheasants were extremely resistant at first, but stopped resisting when they saw something to eat. Come over obediently and peck at the rice in Zhou's palm. Zhou tried to continue using tame on it. Unexpectedly, it was successful this time. The pheasant was actually tamed. Sure enough, it still tastes good. Zhou saw a new taming unit added to his tamer profession column, pheasant. But his trainer level is still level 0. Because he has not yet tamed a dinosaur that has just regained its ability to walk, his level has not been improved. Zhou gave the pheasant a simple instruction: lay eggs. The pheasant squatted on the ground. Zhou saw that it squatted for a long time, but it didn't even produce an egg. I guess it's not yet time to lay eggs. The pheasant isn't particularly big either. It may take a while to fatten up. Zhou asked him to eat hard. After eating, I went to the vegetable garden to pull it. The chicken manure pulled out can be used as fertilizer. Then Zhou simply took a nap to recharge his batteries. Start selling berries. Today's goal is to sell 2/3 of the berries in this cave. Zhou directly opened the world channel and entered the search criteria: sophisticated props. After searching, I found a lot of good stuff. Found a dimensional backpack. Good. Buy it directly. Telescope. Buy it. Raincoat. Hiking boots. Shampoo. Soap. Premium grade pot making drawings. Buy. Buy the bracken that herbivorous dinosaurs love to eat. Medical bandage X10. Buy it. This thing was obviously opened by the seller from the supply box. Needless to say, the benefits of medical bandages are essential supplies when injured in the wild. These sellers also know the importance of this thing. Because of the severe lack of food, I can only choose to part ways with pain. In the end, Zhou successfully won it with 100 berries. Bite. System reminder. The base has met the requirements for upgrading to the second level base. Do you want to upgrade? The sudden system prompt surprised Zhou. Upgraded to level 2 so quickly. Zhou first checked the requirements for upgrading the base to level 2 and found that excellent grade stone X50, fine wood X100, High-quality metal sheet X30. This condition is a bit demanding, so I can only give up for the time being. Looking at the remaining berries in the cave, there are more than 300 left, so I will leave them for now. Zhou went out and spread bracken on the top of the trap pit to lure the dinosaurs to eat. Then I went for a strength test. I found that I could barely lift the 7th stone. My strength has increased a bit more than the day before yesterday. 100 meters speed test 9 seconds 9. The ultimate round trip jump is about 2.7 times per second. It can take more than 1.5 minutes to lift 6 stones with both hands. My physical fitness is a little bit better than the day before yesterday. But there is still a long way to go before fighting the beast head-on. I saw the terror bird fighting with the young man during the day. Knowing that he was going to die, the young man drew his dagger and resisted desperately. He was offline in less than a minute in front of a wild predator like the terror bird. Zhou may be much stronger than that young man, but if he encounters a terrifying bird head-on, I guess the outcome will be more losses than wins. After Zhou's physical test, he returned to the cave and prepared to rest. In the evening, Zhou found a friend request. Zhang Pengfei requests to add you as a friend. Zhang Pengfei. Zhou thought for a while and then remembered that this was the person who asked him to give berries to his sister to cure her illness. Zhou agreed to the friend request. Zhang Pengfei. Brother, thank you for the berries. Without your berries to save her life, my sister probably wouldn't have survived last night. From the message sent by Zhang Pengfei, it can be seen that he was very excited. Zhou, you're welcome. Then Zhou saw several things coming from the other party in the trading platform. Excellent grade meat X2. Stone X2. Wood X4. Zhou was stunned for a moment. Zhou sent a few question marks to the other party. Zhou, it's just something you do casually, what are you doing? Zhang Pengfei. Brother, what are you talking about? The favor of saving my life is greater than heaven. I said that I want to repay you, so I must not break my promise. Zhang Pengfei. If you accept these things, are they worth your 2 berries and a bottle of water? I'm not afraid of your laughter. These are the only things I have left. If you need anything else, tell me and I will help you. Get it? Zhou looked at the message he sent and pondered. To be honest, Zhang Pengfei's enthusiasm made him a little uncomfortable. Nowadays it is difficult to meet someone who is so grateful for his kindness. Zhou, take the things back. Your sister is still ill. The things I gave you are not worth mentioning to me and I don't need any repayment from you. Zhang Pengfei. How can that be done? I don't want other people's things for nothing. Besides, I feel guilty about it. Zhou turned to ask, where did you get this fine piece of meat in your hand? Zhang Pengfei. I went out to hunt 3 dire wolves and cut the wolf meat from their bodies. Zhang Pengfei's tone was relaxed, but Zhou was surprised. Dire wolves are much more ferocious than modern wolves. According to Prehistoric Creatures, dire wolves are also predators that feed on large beasts such as bison and wild horses. They are physically strong and like to travel in groups. In the wild, a person alone has no chance of surviving against a wild wolf. Zhang Pengfei killed 3 wild wolves by himself. Zhou didn't believe it when he told him. Can you kill 3 dire wolves by yourself? Zhou did not hide his suspicion. Zhang Pengfei. At first I thought I was going to die, so I fought with these beasts with determination to die. But I found that they were not as powerful as I thought, so I cut open the neck of a dire wolf with 1 knife. In addition, the 2 wild wolves that came up together were stabbed over by me several times, and the remaining 2 wild wolves were scared away. Quote. Zhang Pengfei showed off his achievements. Zhou thought for a moment and asked, have you ever eaten the flesh of a beast before? Zhang Pengfei. My benefactor, how did you know? There was a dead dinosaur lying at the door of my cave. My sister and I had nothing to eat and were about to starve to death, so we used knives to cut the dinosaur's meat all day long. Quote. Zhang Pengfei. We eat every day, but my sister suddenly fell ill yesterday. She was frothing at the mouth and fell asleep. My sister didn't drink water for a long time, so I found you. Zhang Pengfei often ate dinosaur meat, and his strength increased quickly, so he was able to defeat the dire wolf. Zhou felt that this made sense. Zhang Pengfei was not lying. Zhou asked, since you have dinosaur meat, why don't you trade with others for water? When Zhang Pengfei heard this, he was very angry and said, I also wanted to use dinosaur meat to exchange water with other people, but I met a scammer twice. The water I exchanged was dirty water that could not be drank, and it was in vain that my sister fell ill. Quote. Zhou Yi nodded. Zhang Pengfei was also unlucky. Fortunately, I met him, otherwise his sister might have died. So he was very touched by Zhou Yi's help in critical moments, and always wanted to repay his kindness. Zhou Yi, how is your sister's illness? Zhou Yi's message was sent. After a few seconds, a photo pops up from the chat box. The photo showed a girl lying on a straw mat with her eyes closed. Zhou Yi was a little speechless, why he liked the above picture without saying anything. The girl in the photo seems to be asleep, her brows are furrowed tightly, her complexion is much better than yesterday, and her lips are not so dry and cracked. Looking at her lying on a thin straw mat, she seemed a little cold. Zhang Pengfei, Xiao Yu is much better than yesterday. When she woke up during the day, she kept asking me to thank the person who gave her berries, haha. As soon as Zhang Pengfei finished saying this, he discovered that there were 5 more berries on the trading platform and a bamboo tube of water. Zhou Yi, don't talk about repayment or not. As long as you can live here forever, we may have the opportunity to become friends in the future. Let's talk about repayment then. Within the scope of our ability, Zhou Yi can help if he can. He didn't expect Zhang Pengfei to repay him with anything. Besides, Zhang Pengfei can't repay him with anything now. Zhang Pengfei also knew that he had really met a good person and had no intention of repaying him. So I solemnly typed out the next line, Benefactor, I will definitely live a good life and come back to repay you when the time comes. System reminder. Today's temperature is -2 degrees, 5 degrees, a cold wave is approaching, please pay attention to cold protection. When Zhou Yi climbed up from his warm sleeping bag, he found that there was a layer of frost covering the top and bottom of the cave. Even the chickens squatting in the vegetable garden were shivering from the cold. Zhou Yi still underestimated the extent of this cold wave. Quickly light the charcoal to warm up the cave first. After eating some bacon and barbecue for breakfast, I took a look at the vegetable garden and found that the seaweed in the vegetable garden was about to grow, and should be ready to be picked in a day or two. Pushing open the door of the cave, Zhou Yi decided to go to the berry forest again. He could move as many berries as he could, and even though he moved them back and forth many times, there were still a lot of fruits left in the berry forest. If a large beast discovers this place and takes it as its own territory, he will not have this benefit. I'm lucky today. There are no wild animals near the berry forest. Zhou Yi carried a dimensional backpack this time. There are a total of 10 grids in this backpack. You can put one thing in each grid. Up to 99 items of the same item can be placed. In other words, if Zhou Yi uses all his dimensional backpack to hold berries, he can hold up to 990 berries. Zhou Yi used to carry sacks. 3 large sacks at a time can hold more than 200 at a time. Once loaded, it will be shipped away. Then come back and continue packing in sacks. Tossing back and forth. Now that I have this backpack, it is much easier than a sack. Zhou Yi pretended all morning, filling up his dimensional backpack until the upper limit was reached. And another advantage of this dimensional backpack is that it doesn't count the weight of the things you put in it. Carrying 1,000 berries is easy. Zhou Yi carried a dimensional backpack and returned along the original path. While passing through a bush on the way, Zhou Yi suddenly felt a violent shaking in the grass leaves beside the road. Usually this situation is caused by wild beasts. He reacted so quickly that he hid under the grass leaves nearby. Soon after, a huge grizzly bear emerged from the bushes. Seeing this bear, Zhou Yi was shocked. This bear is very majestic, with a short neck and a thin face. It's the notorious short-faced bear. The short-faced bear stands more than 3 meters tall, weighs 900 kilograms, and has a palm force of about 1 to 2 tons. It can easily beat people to pulp, and is more than 10 times stronger than ordinary brown bears. A very ferocious carnivorous beast. Fortunately, the short-faced bear didn't notice him. The short-faced bear occupies the middle of the road, looking like a fool, shaking its head and tail. Zhou Yi had been hiding in the grass until the short-faced bear left and then emerged from the grass. Zhou Yi had surveyed this round-trip route countless times, and he would never encounter such a beast. Zhou Yi speculated that this short-faced bear might have passed by here, and it seemed that the course of action needed to be revised. The journey back to the cave was uneventful, but we must be more careful in the future. Staying in prehistoric times, one could die at any time. Because he encountered a short-faced bear, Zhou Yi stayed in the cave for the time being and did not move around. After staying for 2 hours, I guess the short-faced bear should have left. Zhou Yi set off from the cave again and went to the berry forest to pick fruits. When Zhou Yi came to the berry forest again, his steps shrank. He found the short-faced bear lying in the forest eating berries. After eating, he lay down on the ground and fell asleep. My stomach made a gurgling sound. It's difficult now. Zhou Yi stood there and hesitated. Unexpectedly, the short-faced bear was sleeping in the berry forest. It looks delicious, with juice flowing from the corners of your mouth. Zhou Yi could only look at the berries right in front of him and did not dare to pick them. Although this short-faced bear was asleep, it would be the end if he was awakened while picking berries. Zhou Yi didn't dare to take this risk. Zhou Yi climbed up the tree skillfully, stayed on the tree and threw a piece of meat from the tree. The meat just landed on the belly of the sleeping bear. The short-faced bear was still sleeping soundly, unaware that there was a piece of meat lying on his belly. In order to drive away the short-faced bear, Zhou Yi could only use this method. After throwing the meat down, Zhou Yi sat on the branch and waited to watch the show. Didn't wait for a few minutes. The leaves not far away began to shake rapidly. Swiss, swiss, swish. A huge terror bird emerged from the trees. The terror bird has a sensitive nose and rushes out after smelling the smell of meat. At this moment, seeing the piece of fresh and plump meat on the bear's belly, he rushed forward desperately. The sharp beak pecked it with all its strength. Ouch! Roar! A roar that shook the forest came from the ground. The terror bird's hook-like beak not only pierced the flesh, but also pierced the bear's belly. The short-faced bear was suddenly awakened from his deep sleep, with a large bloody hole in his abdomen. A pair of bear eyes stared at the long-haired beast in front of him with great fury, wanting to tear it into pieces. The terror bird is not something to be trifled with. It is also a very ferocious carnivore. When the short-faced bear slapped it with its paw, the terror bird mercilessly stretched out its iron beak to fight back. Two ferocious beasts engaged in a desperate fight on the ground. Zhou Yi, who was sitting in a tree watching the show, was completely addicted. The fight on the ground lasted for 20 minutes, and there was no winner yet. Even the ancient tree where Zhou Yi was staying was shaken back and forth by the impact. Zhou Yi couldn't help but worry that the tree could not help but bear the tossing. It can be seen how fierce the battle below is. Finally, after another 10 minutes or so, the terror bird is exhausted. There are wounds all over the body, and the blood has already stained the feathers. The short-faced bear on the other side was also panting and had dozens of holes, large and small, all over his body. However, it seems that the short-faced bear is still lively and energetic on the scene. The terror bird was already tired. The two sides were in a back-and-forth stalemate for more than 10 minutes. The terror bird was finally bitten off its neck by the short-faced bear. One eye of the short-faced bear was pecked out, and there was also a huge and scary gash on its neck. Lying dying on the body of the horror bird. Both sides ended up in a lose-lose situation. After seeing this scene, Zhou Yi no longer hesitated. Jumping from the tree with the crescent sickle. Everything is cheaper for Zhou Yi, the director behind the scenes. Now that you have decided to become a fisherman, you must make a quick decision. Zhou Yi did not hesitate at all. The arm that squeezed the crescent scythe was as steady as a rock, and he calmly waved the crescent scythe and cut the wound on the bear's neck. Blood suddenly surged from the bear's neck, like spring water flowing out. The bear immediately became furious and stood up like a madman. His red eyes flashed with a faint red light, and he ran towards Zhou Yi. I didn't expect this wild bear to still have strength after being injured like this. Zhou Yi turned around and ran without hesitation. He didn't panic, but was very calm. An angry bear is the worst thing to mess with. Regardless of how badly it was injured, if you have the idea of confronting it head-on at this time, you will definitely suffer a big loss. Zhou Yi ran wildly. The bear was scurrying around the berry forest. The bear was seriously injured. The wound on his neck touched an artery and blood flowed profusely. After being slipped around by Zhou Yi for a few times, he lost his strength. The huge body fell completely to the ground, dying. Only then did Zhou Yi stop. Make sure the bear is completely dead before you dare to approach it. Two things appeared on the bear carcass. Meat Premium Grade X7. Bloodborne Essence Intermediate X3. Zhou Yi put these two things away. Also found on the corpse of the horrorbird. Meat Premium Grade X5. Bloodborne Essence Elementary X5. Zhou Yi put it away together. Then he ignored the corpses of the two beasts and immediately opened the sack. I ran to the berry forest and harvested 3 sacks of berries. Throw them into the dimensional backpack together. When Zhou Yi was collecting fruits, he heard a long and sharp chirping sound coming from above his head. The smell of blood has spread out, attracting predators. Zhou Yi guessed that it wasn't a pterosaur. The pterosaur was so huge that it couldn't fly into the vines that blocked the sky above the primeval forest. Maybe a vulture. Zhou Yi sped up, and after collecting 3 sacks of berries, he immediately retreated along the same route without looking back. As soon as Zhou Yi left with his front feet, several vultures impatiently landed. After Zhou Yi returned to the cave, his nervous heartbeat finally calmed down. Thinking about the behavior of picking fruits near the berry forest just now, I couldn't help but feel scared. If there were ferocious beasts around at that time and they smelled blood and rushed towards them, everything would be over. I will never take such risks again in the future. Be careful when sailing the ship that lasts forever. After a whole morning of tossing, Zhou Yi felt tired. Throw the berries into the cave. The bonfire lit before going out in the morning was still burning, and it was still warm in the cave. Although this trip was dangerous, it was quite rewarding. A total of X12 fine grade meat was harvested. Intermediate Blood Essence X3. Primary Blood Essence X5. Plus more than 1,200 berries. Zhou Yi never knew what the bloodborne essence was for, nor the value of the transaction. He remembered that Zhao Qingkong seemed to be collecting this thing. Go back and prepare to ask Zhao Qingkong. Zhou Yi felt a sense of hunger in his stomach, and with the fresh meat he just got. Let's have a barbecue dinner right away at noon. Cut a piece of meat from the short-faced bear and the terror bird, grill it on the charcoal, and then go to the vegetable garden to pick some vegetables. I cooked a bowl of vegetable soup. If this pheasant can lay eggs, that's a bowl of fragrant vegetable and egg soup. It's a pity that this pheasant can only eat but cannot lay eggs. Zhou Yi was so angry that he was helpless. After eating and drinking enough, Zhou Yi felt that his strength seemed to have improved again. He could vaguely feel this kind of growth, and his body was obviously different from before. The muscles seemed stronger than before. Zhou Yi went to try it. As a result, 8 stone blocks were lifted in one go. Effortlessly. In other words, he now lifts 400 pounds flat. The bench press is almost 200 kilograms. It is equivalent to the level of Karl Malone, the bench press king in the NBA. One punch punched out with a force of nearly 1,200 kilograms. From a human perspective, he is very close to the limit of human beings. Zhou Yi remembered that yesterday he could only lift 350 kilograms flatly. The improvement in strength is suddenly a lot. Zhou Yi speculated that it might be related to the fact that he ate short-faced bear meat. The short-faced bear's palm force can reach up to 2 tons. It's very scary. It shows that the short-faced bear is very powerful. Subsequently, Zhou Yi immediately conducted a comprehensive set of tests. It was found that his nerve response also improved greatly, and the frequency of back-and-forth jumps reached 3 times in 1 second. The improvement in abilities in strength and neurological response is particularly prominent. Zhou Yi speculated that it might be related to the fact that he just ate the meat of a short-faced bear and a terrifying bird. The terror bird runs fast, reacts quickly, and moves vigorously. When fighting the short-faced bear, it repeatedly used its quick reaction to dodge the short-faced bear's palm strikes, and stretched its neck to launch quick counterattacks at the short-faced bear. There is a reason why the reaction speed becomes faster after eating the meat of the terror bird. Zhou Yi probably understands. If a beast is good at strength, if he eats the meat of this beast, his strength will increase relatively much. If a beast is good at speed and eats beast meat, its speed will increase more. He happens to have a short-faced bear and a terrifying bird. The meat of these two beasts, that is, the speed and strength will increase simultaneously. After Zhou Yi figured out this principle, he packed the meat of the short-faced bear and the terror bird separately. The temperature is very low now, so the meat can be left dry without worrying about spoilage. We can't go to the berry forest today. Zhou planned to use the afternoon to go out again and check out the place with the supply box that Yao Jilin mentioned. Zhou took a short rest in the cave, put on his hiking boots, binoculars, compass and map and set off. Now Zhou is very well equipped. He wears a camouflage uniform on the outside and a warm cotton coat on the inside, so he is not afraid of the cold. In addition to facing survival crises, others also face cold challenges. Zhou was careful all the way and arrived near the coordinates. Coordinates around the rainforest. Zhou stood in an open position far away from the coordinates, holding a telescope and looking at the coordinates. As a result, I really found a brown-green supply box placed on a rock wall. However, what did not make him happy for long was that directly under the rock wall, there was a resting cave lion. Cave lions, beasts from ancient times, are much larger than lions on Earth, and larger than Siberian tigers. His fighting ability in all aspects is comparable to that of a saber-toothed tiger. Definitely one of humanity's biggest threats. After seeing the cave lion, Zhou couldn't help but curse Yao Jilin as a liar. He had already expected it. If there was such a good thing as a supply box, why didn't he go there himself? He would even advertise on the regional channel to sell the news. Sure enough, this is a cake with flies stuck on it. Zhou continued to observe nearby with a telescope. He found that besides himself, there were other people near the cave lion who were also hiding behind the leaves, staring at the supply box on the cave lion's head. Everyone is so greedy that no one dares to risk their lives by going up to get the supply box. Moreover, as a cave-dwelling creature, the cave lion have the habit of living in groups. Who knows how many cave lions there are in the caves below? In case it offends it. Roar, what should we do if a bunch of lions jump out of the cave? Therefore, everyone only dared to stand and watch from a distance, and no one dared to take action. Zhou suddenly reacted. Yao Jilin can sell this news to himself, or he can also sell the news to others. No wonder he sold the information about the coordinates of the supply box so cheaply, for just one berry. Zhou couldn't help but yell, "This is a villain and a liar." Zhou opens the regional channel. Sure enough, I found a bunch of people scolding him on the regional channel. Everyone is saying that this Yao Jilin is a liar. There are cave lions around the supply boxes, so don't be fooled. Yao Jilin's reputation is already bad. Zhou flipped through the news again. It was discovered that the people from the Fire Alliance seemed to be preparing to hunt an adult Anshi beast and were calling on the regional channel to recruit helpers. Regardless of the cave lion or the Anshi beast, Zhou has little interest in it now. He must now quickly find a way to improve his level as an animal trainer. The supply box is no longer available. Just go home. When Zhou returned the same way, he took a look at the trap he had dug. Still no movement, but it's okay. He can wait. There are definitely traces of dinosaurs on the island, but he hasn't encountered them yet. Zhou is not in a hurry, just stay patient. Back to the cave. The vegetables in the vegetable garden have grown some more. The pheasant is lying on the ground eating grains. The chicken is fatter than when I first caught it 2 days ago. I guess I'll be able to eat eggs soon. The temperature outside is getting lower and lower, and a cold wave is coming. Many beasts have disappeared. Frost has fallen on the ground. Zhou stayed in the warm cave and continued to sell berries on the World Channel. These more than 1,000 berries are enough for him to get a lot of good things. Zhou opened the World Channel and directly searched for sophisticated props. Take a look to see if there are any good things. City return scroll, excellent level. After use, a single-dimensional channel can be opened. Only you can use it, and it will be immediately teleported back to your base. Limit of use, 1 time per day. Horn bow, excellent level. Materials required. Bison tendon, excellent level, X1, fine wood, X5. Zhou glanced at it and found to his surprise. The town portal scroll is an absolute good thing. This thing is equivalent to saving a life when encountering danger in the wild. Zhou must take this life-saving tool. Zhou immediately sent a private message to the seller. The seller also knows the value of the scroll of returning to the city. This is not a scroll of returning to the city, but a scroll of life-saving. But if he doesn't take action, his life will be starved. If his life is gone, what guarantee can he have? After some arguing between Zhou Yi and the seller, he finally spent 350 berries to win this town returning scroll. Although the things are a bit expensive, Zhou Yi thinks it is definitely worth it. Then he bought the ox horn bow. Sometimes squatting on a tree and shooting arrows is definitely a good choice. But a bow is a luxury accessory. If you buy a bow, you also need to buy a bow and arrows. But Zhou Yi can't control that much for the time being. No matter how much you spend, it is worth it to save your life when you encounter danger. Zhou Yi first bought the ox horn bow. Then he also bought the materials for making the horn bow, bison sinew and fine wood. This cost 700 berries. There are still a lot of high-quality props left, but the prices are outrageous. He could only look forward to it and sigh. I don't have enough financial resources, so I can only buy these two things reluctantly. Zhou Yi also discovered that many sophisticated props had usage restrictions. For example, toilet requires a secondary base to build. In premium-grade stone gate production scroll, one of the manufacturing conditions is level 2 base. It seems that it is imperative to upgrade the secondary base first. Since someone in the World Channel is selling these things, it means that someone has upgraded the base to the second level. Zhou Yi rechecked the conditions for upgrading the secondary base. Premium grade stone X50. Fine wood X100. Premium metal sheet X30. The most expensive thing here is the fine grade metal piece, and the others can be bought with berries. So Zhou Yi went directly to marry Zhao Qingkong. Zhou Yi didn't do any ink, so he clearly stated his purpose. I want to exchange for 30 fine grade metal pieces. What do you want? Zhao Qingkong. Hey, are you ready to upgrade the base? Seeing this news, Zhou Yi couldn't help but be stunned. It seems that Zhao Qingkong, who is in the same district as him, has also triggered the base upgrade conditions. Zhou Yi did not deny it. Well, there is a shortage of high-quality metal sheets. I would like to ask for your help. After waiting for a while, a message from Zhao Qingkong was sent. Primary blood essence X30. Berry X800. Excellent grade beast meat. Take out any item here and I can exchange it with you. Quote. Seeing these three conditions set by Zhao Qingkong, Zhou Yi couldn't help but feel confused. He met none of the conditions. He had sold out more than half of the berries, and now he only had less than 1,000 of them. There are only 6 copies of primary blood essence. He has never seen excellent beast meat. This person is not very good at bargaining, but the price she offered is actually relatively in line with the market. High-quality metal sheets are indeed relatively scarce. Zhou Yi, what does the primary blood essence do? Zhao Qingkong, do you have any for making potions? It was originally used to make medicines. Zhou Yi remembered that animal trainers can also make potions, but his current level is not enough yet. Zhou Yi, I don't have enough primary blood essence, but I have intermediate blood essence in my hand. Can I use it to offset it? Zhao Qingkong, intermediate level. How many do you have? Zhao Qingkong's tone was a little surprised. Zhao Qingkong, if you have intermediate blood essence, you can exchange it for fine-grade metal pieces at a ratio of 110, no, 112. Zhao Qingkong first said 110, then changed his mind and said 112. It seems that the intermediate blood source essence is a rare and good thing. Zhou Yi secretly guessed. He happened to have 3 copies of intermediate bloodborne essence in his hand. After thinking about it, he took out 2 copies of intermediate blood source essence and 6 copies of primary blood source essence and exchanged them with Zhao Qingkong. In this way, he still has an intermediate blood source essence left in his hand. Both parties successfully completed the transaction. Both parties are very satisfied. Zhao Qingkong did not end the conversation immediately. Zhao Qingkong, I have some news here, do you want to know? Zhou Yi was stunned for a moment. What do I need to replace it with? Zhao Qingkong, no need to change, I gave it to you for free. Zhou Yi, oh, tell me, Zhao Qingkong, do you know what the next disaster will be? The disaster Zhao Qingkong mentioned should be the disaster prompted by the system. Zhou Yi, is it a cold wave? Zhao Qingkong, the cold wave is this time, I'm talking about the next time. Zhou Yi, what is it? Zhao Qingkong, it's a python disaster. Hiss. Zhou Yi took a breath of cold air. He didn't expect that the next time would be a python disaster. Thinking of those primitive giant pythons that were more than 1 meter thick and more than 10 meters long, covering the sky and the sun, and running rampant on the island in groups, Zhou Yi couldn't help but feel his scalp numb. Zhou Yi, when? Zhao Qingkong. I don't know, it will take about 6 to 10 days, so be prepared. Zhao Qingkong was quite a nice person and reminded him that this news was quite important to Zhou Yi. If you know in advance, you can prevent it in advance. Otherwise, once a disaster strikes, it breaks out on the spot, and you don't even know what happened, and the base will be gone. Zhou Yi, thank you for reminding me. Why are you telling me this? Zhao Qingkong. Haha, because I want you to live longer. Zhao Qingkong's playful tone at the end made Zhou Yi a little unpredictable. It seems that Zhao Qingkong is not too worried about the coming python disaster. Zhou Yi closed the chat window. Then he went to the World Channel to trade for a fine-grade stone X50. Fine-grade stones are not as difficult to buy as fine-grade metal pieces. Almost one fine-grade stone equals 10 ordinary stones. Zhou Yi easily finished it with 500 berries. After replacing it with high-quality wood X100. There were less than 100 berries left in Zhou Yi's hand. System reminder. It is detected that the player has met the requirements for promotion to the base. Do you want to upgrade now? Yes. Zhou Yi did not hesitate and decisively chose OK. Players please choose the base upgrade direction. 1. Crypt type. 2. Fortress style. Crypt style. Fortress style. Zhou Yi didn't expect that he could also choose a style when upgrading his base. He thought for a while. If it were built like a fortress, it would inevitably be exposed to the ground. When the time comes when a python disaster is raging, there is no guarantee that we will not become a target. Although the fortress sounds strong, no matter how strong it is, there are still weaknesses. In contrast, Zhou Yi still felt that it was safer to hide underground. Crypt style. Selection completed. Now start base upgrade. The entire upgrade process is expected to take 30 minutes, please be patient. After 30 minutes, with a loud, rumbling sound, Zhou Yi's cave has undergone earth-shaking changes. The surrounding original mud walls took on a new look and turned into solid stone walls. The originally uneven space became square and neat, with wooden bamboo walls dividing it into 3 rooms of different sizes. The location of the stone gate changed drastically and became a sunken one. In front of the stone gate, there are steps leading to the ground. Outside the sunken stone gate, there is a 4 meter by 5 meter yard, which is surrounded by stone walls. Strong horizontal wooden stakes are inserted on the top to act as overhangs, allowing sunlight to penetrate into the yard and prevent the sun from falling. The beast attacks from the air. A simple ventilation shaft is also installed on the top of the entire crypt. Zhou Yi couldn't help but feel refreshed when he looked at the drastically changed style of his residence. This feels a bit like home. System reminder. It is detected that player Zhou Yi is the second player in Area 851 to complete the base upgrade, and the system will specially reward him. The second player to complete the base upgrade, who is the first player? Zhao Qingkong, Li Yan, Wang Ming. This question flashed through Zhou Yi's mind. Pong. A huge brown-green box sat in the larger room. The system reward has been delivered, please check it carefully. Zhou Yi suppressed his excitement and stepped forward to open the brown-green box. Toilet Production Drawings X1. Premium Grade Meat X10. Wahaha Mineral Water X1 Box. Vegetable Seeds. Zhou Yi checked and found that almost all of them were daily necessities. After being promoted to the second-level base, with these biological materials, it is basically not a problem to hide in the base for 10 days and a half. The toilet production drawings are already available, which saves him from having to deal with others. Zhou Yi first checked the things needed to make a toilet: stone, metal sheets, and wood. Then open the World Channel, change the materials first, and prepare to take out the toilet first. Now that the berries in his hand have almost been used up, there is quite a lot of fine-grade meat. He won't be able to eat so much high-quality meat in the short term, so he might as well take out the meat and sell some of it. Zhou Yi used 3 pieces of high-quality meat given by the system in exchange for all the materials for making toilets. After the toilet is made, you still need to choose the location for installation. Zhou Yi reserved the smallest room among the 3 rooms for the toilet. Soon, a clean and tidy toilet with its own ventilation system was installed. Everything about this toilet is perfect and has all the functions of a toilet. The only imperfection was the missing shower head, making it impossible to take a shower. Joey hasn't taken a shower for almost a week since he came here. I often run outside every day and my body smells bad. There was no shower head, so Joey had his own way. Bought a large wooden barrel from World Channel. Then I boiled a large pot of boiling water and poured it directly into the barrel. After adding some cold water to adjust the temperature. Then he took off his clothes and jumped in. Soak for half an hour, wash thoroughly and come out refreshed. After taking a shower, the peculiar smell on my body was finally gone. Looking at his dirty clothes inside and outside, he washed the clothes again with the bath water. Joey bought 2 sets of clean and warm clothes from the World Channel. Although it may be secondhand, I don't pay that much attention to it for the time being. Just wear it. Joey wore dry clothes, pushed open the stone door, and went to take a look in the yard outside. The new yard is not small, with an area of 20 square meters, 10 times larger than his original vegetable garden. Joey replanted the vegetable garden he originally planted in the yard. It was found that there was not enough soil. The supply box gave him seeds of various vegetables, and he has a plan in the future. Grow berry trees in the vegetable garden. In this way, he no longer has to risk going to the berry forest to pick berries, but can directly pick them from his own vegetable garden. Eat as much as you want. It can also be sold. So Joey immediately opened the World Channel. Just ready to search for premium grade soy. Then the search order was withdrawn. Search instead for excellent grade soil. Suddenly I made a new discovery. Someone actually sells it, but there were fewer people selling, only 2 people. Excellent grade soil is more efficient and faster than fine grade soil. There is no best, only better. Joey sent private messages to each other. One of them has a very high profile, and must exchange it for excellent grade meat or excellent grade metal pieces, otherwise it will not be sold. Joey immediately chose to change his target. The second seller's attitude was obviously much better, but he made a very strange request to Joey. I want to eat some sweet fruit, do you have any? Very sweet fruit. Joey was a little confused by this request. He only has berries in his hand. The flavor of the berries is okay, not very sweet, but a bit sweet. It is a refreshing and thirst-quenching fruit with lots of water. A bit like watermelon. Joey traded a berry to the seller named Chen-Yi. Let her try it first to see if it meets her requirements. Waited for a while. News about Chen-Yi came to me like crazy. So sweet. Wow, it's delicious. There's so much water. Well, it's so enjoyable. Do you still have it there? This is what I want, I love the taste. The starry eyes are cute. Joey, why does it feel like this Chen-Yi is here to survive? Others come to survive, but you come to taste the delicious prehistoric fruits. Joey, I still have some, but not much. I can give it to you if you want. Chen-Yi, wow, really? Then use this fruit in exchange. Joey successfully exchanged 200 berries for 10 kilograms of excellent soil from Chen-Yi. Joey always felt that he had the illusion of abducting underage girls. Chen-Yi, thank you. There are so many fruits that I can eat for a long time. Chen-Yi sent you a friend request. Joey added Chen-Yi to his friends list. Joey, by the way, do you still have excellent soil there? Chen-Yi, yes. Joey, then, I can still pick berries next time. Can I continue to exchange berries with you for excellent soil? Chen-Yi replied readily, yes. Welcome. Joey, such an enthusiastic seller, didn't know how to reply to her, so he could only say a few more words. Thanks. Finally, Chen-Yi replied politely, you're welcome. Chat window closed. From Chen-Yi, it is almost equivalent to getting 10 kilograms of excellent grade soil for free. Joey is in a good mood. Excellent grade soil was immediately spread in the small yard. 10 pounds of soil seems like a lot, but when spread in a small yard of 20 square meters, there is only a thin layer. Only enough to cover half the yard. Joey spread half of the yard's soil first, and the rest will wait for him to go to the berry forest tomorrow to pick fruits before exchanging them with Chen-Yi. Then Joey planted all the vegetable seeds, sweet potato seeds, and millet spicy seeds into the soil. Then pour some clean spring water and sprinkle with fertilizer. Next, look forward to the miraculous effects of excellent soil. After doing this, Zhou returned to the crypt with satisfaction. His existing preparations are enough to cope with the coming cold snap. Even if he doesn't go out next time, he will be fine if he stays in the crypt for a week. Zhou thought for a while and decided to buy a bed to sleep on. It just doesn't feel right to sleep on the floor all the time. So Zhou opened the World Channel and searched for it, and selected a 1.5-meter wide double bed. At the cost of a piece of high-quality meat and 2 bottles of Wahaha mineral water, we successfully won it. Zhou lay down on a comfortable bed and was about to take a rest. Li Yan sent another private message, inviting him to join the Tinder Alliance. Li Yan's attitude changed this time. Last time he threatened him, but this time he said nice things. Even if he uses sugar-coated bullets to coax him, he still doesn't want to give up on Zhou, a strong man. Zhou decisively refused. No matter how fanciful Li Yan's words were, Zhou had no idea about joining the camp. Zhou lay on the comfortable big bed and fell asleep quickly. At night, a terrible roar came from outside. The sound is like muffled thunder rolling. Zhou woke up directly from his sleep. Zhou was woken up in the middle of the night. He sat up directly from the bed. He became awake almost instantly. Because he felt that the entire crypt was shaking. No, it feels more like the entire mountain is vibrating. Accompanied by waves of thunderous roars. A terrible tremor of bang and bang came from under my feet. Zhou quickly got out of bed. After getting dressed, I immediately rushed to the stone gate. Opened the stone door to a small gap and looked outside. This sight immediately surprised him. I saw a huge monster, like a terrifying behemoth. He was banging his head against the mountain. It let out an angry roar, as if it wanted to crash the mountain. The light was too dark at night, and Zhou couldn't see clearly for a while. When he looked carefully, he discovered that the monster's head had 3 long horns. Each horn is 1 meter long, and the longest horn is more than 2 meters long. They are located above its mouth and nose, and above its 2 eyes. There is an expanded bone shield behind its head. The length of the body is more than 10 meters long, and the 4 thick legs under the abdomen are as thick as courtyard pillars supporting the huge body. This is an adult triceratops. Zhou was surprised. I couldn't help but suppress my inner wonder. Why would a triceratops appear near my cave? This triceratops looked obviously very angry, roaring and hitting the mountain. What is it angry about? At this time, a whimpering sound came from the silent night sky. The voice sounded like it was pleading, and it sounded like the voice of some kind of young animal. Echoing the thunderous roar of the triceratops. After hearing the young cry, the triceratops immediately changed its direction and ran away. Zhou could see clearly from hiding behind the door that the direction in which the triceratops was going was exactly where he had laid the trap. An idea suddenly came to Zhou's mind. The triceratops baby accidentally fell into the trap he dug because of his greed. The triceratops mother couldn't save the baby, so she angrily hit the mountain. Zhou was startled by his own idea. Listening to the whining for help in the air and the impatient but helpless roar of the adult triceratops, he felt more and more that the situation was probably what he thought. What can we do? If Mother Triceratops discovers that the initiator of everything is Zhou, the guy hiding in the cave, then his crypt should not be destroyed directly into ruins. Zhou didn't dare to show his head anymore, closed the door, and only dared to hide behind the door and listen to what was going on outside. It was so cold outside that Zhou went to bed after being frozen for a few minutes. In the second half of the night, he vaguely heard that the female triceratops stayed with the baby dragon until dawn, and then gradually left. The next day, at dawn, Zhou quickly got up and went to the trap outside the door to take a look. He didn't forget to be wary of his surroundings. The mother triceratops might still be nearby at any time. If it is discovered, it will be completely finished. An adult triceratops is far beyond what he can provoke now. Not to mention him, an adult Tyrannosaurus rex would not dare to provoke an adult triceratops easily. Only when they are starving and crazy will an adult Tyrannosaurus rex choose to risk injury to hunt triceratops. After confirming that the female triceratops was not nearby, only then did Zhou dare to lean over. Sure enough, there was a young triceratops lying at the bottom of the 2-meter deep trap pit. This triceratops is about the size of a dog. Just like its mother, There are 3 sharp horns on the top of its head, and a narrow skull shield just extends behind its head. A pair of brown eyes flashed with anger. Not afraid of him at all. Very naughty temperament. Zhou Yi thought to himself, this is no longer in the category of just learning to walk, right? But right now, this little triangle is the only target. Zhou Yi immediately used tame on it. Failed the first time. It also failed the second time. The third time. The 27th time failed. This little triceratops has a very strong temper and refuses to bow its head in the face of Zhou Yi's taming. Instead, it pointed at him with the horns on its head, assuming a hostile posture. There is a stubbornness in his small body. Zhou Yi has been taming him 27 times, but he still refuses to bow his head. Zhou Yi decided to slow down and try another method. He took out the fern leaves that triceratops loved to eat and handed them to it. Planned to lure it with the scent of food. This is how Zhou Yi successfully tamed the pheasant. As a result, the little triceratops didn't buy his account at all. Zhou Yi used grass leaves to lure him for a long time. The little triceratops had no intention of eating. Instead, it lowered its head and growled at him. Zhou Yi didn't expect that the triceratops' temper would be so stubborn, and it would refuse to take any advice. Zhou Yi spent a long time and lost his temper. Throw the grass leaves into the pit. Gone. After returning to base, Zhou Yi decided to go to the berry forest again. The next night, the female triceratops is here again. It kept scratching the edge of the pit with both feet, trying to get the little triceratops to bite one of her feet and pull it up. The little triceratops was also exerting its strength and jumped at the bottom of the pit several times without success. After trying more than 10 times in a row without success, the mother triceratops roared sadly and left. The third day, Mother Triceratops still can't bear to leave. Came to see it again. The mother Triceratops held many blades of grass in her mouth and threw them into the pit. The baby Triceratops eats grass blades and looks at its mother. The wind is freezing outside, and the cold wave has completely descended on this isolated island. The little Triceratops stood shivering at the bottom of the pit as the cold wind blew. Mother Triceratops is leaving. Not only does it only have a relative, the little Triceratops, but it also has a huge group of people to take care of. In order to find a warmer environment, the Triceratops group migrated collectively across the sea to the opposite continent. This was the last time the Triceratops mother came to see it. Woo! Roar! The mother Triceratops looked at her child and growled at it. It seems to be telling it to be strong. The little Triceratops stood at the bottom of the pit and roared in response to its mother. Mother Triceratops is gone. He stepped into the wind and snow without looking back. Big drops of tears slipped from the face of the mother Triceratops and fell on the ground. It was quickly dried by the cold wind. The roar of the little Triceratops echoed in the primeval forest and never stopped. Its mother never came back to see it again. Zhou Yi was in the berry forest at this time and encountered the most ferocious fight in his life. A huge black python stared at him. While he was picking berries, he suddenly jumped out of the grass nearby. The mouth opened like a blood basin. If Zhou Yi hadn't reacted quickly, he might have been in the black python's belly. This black python is thick and strong, at least 7 or 8 meters long, and its body is as thick as a washbasin. The brute force is so fierce that even if a cow stands here, it will be strangled to death if it gets entangled. In order not to be entangled by the black python, Zhou Yi kept moving around and around it. Beware of its big bites and prevent it from getting entangled. Zhou Yi wielded the crescent scythe and struck the black python 7 inches in the face with one strike, causing blood to spurt out. But because the crescent sickle was not sharp enough, it only cut through the scales on the black python's body. No damage to the inside. Zhou Yi drew out a sophisticated dagger. Eating meat for many days in a row improved my reflexes, and I quickly dodged the python's fierce bite. Holding the knife in his left hand, he took advantage of the situation and flipped it back. Cut off the snake's head with one knife. Blood spilled out from the broken neck like a fountain. After Zhou Yi killed the black python, take away 2 fine-grade meats on the ground and 5 primary blood-borne essences. He immediately left the berry forest. Zhou Yi didn't know when this black python targeted him. He had a feeling. Soon the berry forest would no longer be his. When Zhou Yi hurried back to the crypt, I happened to see the mother triceratops abandoning her baby and leaving without looking back. Zhou Yi stood in front of the stone door of the crypt and stared blankly at the mother triceratops leaving. This triceratops mother has been guarding her baby triceratops next to the trap for 3 days and 3 nights. Finally, he reluctantly chose to leave. Zhou Yi watched its back disappear from the end of the field of vision. Judging from the direction it is leaving, it should be preparing to cross the sea and go to the mainland on the other side. Zhou Yi had mixed feelings in his heart for a moment. No matter what time it is, no matter what species it is, maternal love is the most selfless. Zhou Yi had no choice. He couldn't hold the baby triceratops and give it to its mother. If he really did this, the first person the triceratops mother would kill would be him who stole her son. Moreover, crossing the sea is very dangerous. There are many monsters in the ocean. If the little triceratops follows the group, it will probably die while crossing the sea. What Zhou Yi can do is help it tame the little triceratops. Let the little triceratops follow you to ensure that it will not die easily. At noon that day, the little triceratops kept roaring lowly in the pit. It also seemed to feel the passing of its mother. Until night, Zhou Yi could still hear the intermittent cry of the little triceratops. In the middle of the night, it became quiet outside. Zhou Yi opened the stone door in the middle of the night. Come to the edge of the trap pit to check. The little triceratops huddled at the bottom of the pit, listless from the cold. It was too cold. His angry eyes were also blank. Zhou Yi handed the fern leaf to its mouth. It was so hungry that it had already eaten all the food given to it by its mother. When I saw the food, I opened my mouth and ate it one bite at a time. After eating something, the baby triceratops regained a little energy. Zhou Yi jumped into the trap pit in one step. I guess this little triceratops doesn't have the strength to attack itself now. Sure enough, the little triceratops saw him jump down and had no reaction. Still huddled in the corner, Zhou Yi picked it up. It feels like I have stepped on something slippery under my feet. Zhou Yi looked up and found a dead snake lying at the bottom of the pit. Why is there a dead snake here? Zhou Yi was puzzled, and then he checked the body of the little triceratops. It was found that there was an obvious wound on its right leg. There is blood oozing out, but the wound has been frozen and there is not much blood flowing. It turned out that the snake bit it, but the little triceratops also trampled the snake to death. Zhou Yi didn't know what kind of snake it was, or whether it was poisonous. First, take the little triceratops back to the burrow. Lit a bonfire. Let the temperature in the room gradually warm up. Pour some mountain spring water in a bamboo tube and feed it to drink. The little triceratops was sleepy for 3 days without drinking water, so he took a few sips after seeing the spring water, Gouda, and Gouda. After the temperature rose, the frozen wound on the little triceratops' right leg began to bleed again. Zhou Yi found a roll of medical bandage and wrapped it around its right leg, wrapping it tightly. Prevent blood from flowing out. This is the only way we can handle it for the time being. Zhou Yi didn't know whether the snake was poisonous or not. If it's poisonous, there's nothing he can do about it. There is no detoxifying serum here, so you can only rely on it to resist. After Zhou Yi bandaged it, the little triceratops lay beside the campfire and fell asleep. Zhou Yi ignored it for the time being. I went back to bed and took a nap. He didn't get up until it was completely light. Zhou Yi woke up early in the morning and saw someone sending him a message. When I saw it was a transaction request from Zheng Pengfei. Benefactor, do you need high-quality wood? I have it here. Then Zhou Yi's trading platform directly added 50 pieces of high-quality wood. Zhou Yi indeed announced on the regional channel that he wanted to purchase high-quality wood. Because making arrows requires wood. Good arrows require high-quality wood to be powerful. Unexpectedly, Zheng Pengfei sent it directly to him. Zhou Yi asked, "Where did you get all this wood?" Zheng Pengfei, "There happens to be a forest near me. I go out and cut down as much as I want, haha. Don't worry, my benefactor, I didn't buy it from someone else." Zhou Yi didn't take the wood in vain and gave him 300 berries in exchange. Seeing that Zheng Pengfei seemed to be doing well and still had time to chop wood every day, Zhou Yi asked about his current situation. Zheng Pengfei, "Haha, no need to worry about my benefactor, everything is fine recently, Xiaoyu has recovered, there is a forest outside the door, and I can chop some wood to sell every day. Xiao Yu can also get up and help. Photo uploaded by Zheng Pengfei. Zheng Pengfei once again complained about his sister. In the photo, Xiao Yu is bending down to pack up the newly chopped wood for his brother, tying the bundles with ropes and placing them neatly, looking very well behaved. From this point of view, Zheng Pengfei can make a fortune from the woods at his doorstep. Just like Zhou Yi found a way to make a fortune through berry groves. But Zheng Pengfei's advantage is more obvious. There is a forest at his doorstep. Zhou Yi told him, "You must insist on eating meat every day, 3 meals a day, and don't miss a meal. Guard this forest and don't give it to anyone." Zheng Pengfei also heard that Zhou Yi was really helping him, so he said these words to him. "So keep the words in your heart. I remember, benefactor." Zhou Yi, one more thing, the python disaster is coming, so be prepared in advance. Area 851, beside a forest on the plain. There is a simple stone cave. Anaconda disaster. Zheng Pengfei was shocked by these words. "What's wrong, brother?" In the cave, Xiao Yu, who was busy tying up wood, turned around and asked in a crisp voice. Her brother Zheng Pengfei had just had a good chat with the benefactor who saved her life. Now he suddenly has a solemn expression on his face, as if something big has happened. A pair of delicate eyebrows were raised, and Xiao Yu looked at her brother in confusion. Zheng Pengfei quickly walked into the cave. He sat down and drank a lot of water to calm his shock. Then he asked Xiao Yu to sit down and said with a serious face, "Xiao Yu, something big is going to happen. Listen, now do as I say, and we can still escape. Thanks to our benefactor this time, he saved our lives again." Xiao Yu nodded, her big eyes full of curiosity and admiration. What kind of person was the benefactor? He saved their lives several times. Zhou Yi and his 2 brothers and sisters. It's like being a destined noble person. Afterwards, Zheng Pengfei sat down and explained that they could use the best wood to exchange for various supplies. They built their caves into iron walls to avoid this disaster. Xiao Yu nodded frequently, and the 2 of them quickly got busy. In the cave, Zhou Yi is eating breakfast. An egg, 2 leaves of lettuce, and a piece of salted barbecue. After being fed by Zhou Yi for a week, the pheasant finally began to lay eggs. It was not in vain that Zhou Yi invested in it for several days, and finally got to eat eggs. However, the production of this pheasant is a bit low, and a clutch can only lay 2 eggs at a time. Zhou Yi was thinking about hatching the chicks, building a chicken pen, and raising a dozen chickens. In this way, you will have eggs to eat every meal in the future, and the excess eggs can be sold for resources. The excellent grade soil is also very powerful. The newly planted seeds sprouted lettuce in just 3 days. According to this efficiency, Zhou Yi is also very optimistic about the prospects of planting berry trees in the future. The little triceratops also woke up, staring at Zhou Yi with its tiger head and tiger head. He didn't seem to remember anything that happened last night, and he regarded him as an enemy. One of its feet is bandaged and it is still unable to stand up. He could only lie half down on the ground. It was very warm by the campfire, and the little triceratops stayed close to it. Zhou Yi quickly finished the sumptuous breakfast. He also left a small piece of lettuce leaf for the little triceratops to eat. Zhou Yi fed it with lettuce leaves and told it, "This is much more nutritious than fern leaves." The little triceratops nudged the lettuce leaves brought to it with its nose. The gaze in the big eyes is still full of vigilance. Stretched his head to the side. It means, "I won't eat it." His temper is quite strong. Zhou Yi didn't force it either. If you don't want to eat, don't eat. If you don't eat, you'll be hungry soon. Zhou Yi said to it. It doesn't matter whether it can understand it or not. Put the lettuce leaves on the ground, scoop out a bamboo tube of water and put it next to the bonfire. This is your breakfast. If you don't eat it, you'll be hungry soon. Zhou Yi pointed at the food and then at its belly. The little triceratops kept staring at him with round eyes. It feels like I should understand. Zhou Yi stretched out his palm and stroked the horns on its head. There was immediate resistance. Now this little triceratops is about the same size as a golden retriever and cannot resist Zhou Yi's clutches. Zhou Yi wanted to play with it. Pull the horn on its forehead and spin it in a circle like a top. The most it dares to do is fart. Roar. The little triceratops roared unyieldingly in protest. Zhou Yi patted its round head twice. I think the shield on the back of its head is also quite interesting. Grab it with both hands and swing it back and forth like a steering wheel. The little triceratops made hum and hum sounds twice. 2 long streams of air spurted out from the nostrils. Seems very unhappy. This kind of stubborn temper should be controlled. After Zhou Yi held it for a while, he left the stone room. Before leaving, Zhou Yi tried to tame the little triceratops. It failed as expected. After Zhou Yi left, the little triceratops got up from the ground. Getting closer to the lettuce leaves, it instinctively wanted to resist the food Zhou Yi gave it. But my stomach started growling. It's really hungry. And the vegetable leaves in front of me exude an attractive fragrance. After all, the little triceratops couldn't resist the temptation. It leaned forward with its big head and took a bite of the lettuce leaf. A different taste comes from your mouth. Completely different from fern leaves. The little triceratops ate up all the lettuce leaves in 2 or 3 mouthfuls. Then he drank all the water in the bamboo tube. I found lettuce leaves delicious. Just 1 leaf cannot satisfy its stomach. The little triceratops arched its nose and found a familiar smell coming from the stone door. It tastes a bit like lettuce leaves. So it came to the stone gate. He pushed hard with the horns on his head, but found that he could not open the stone door. One of his legs was injured and could not use any strength. He had no choice but to lie down next to the stone door. At noon, Zhou Yi returned to the stone chamber. As soon as I opened the stone door, I found a small triceratops lying on the edge of the stone door. Seems to want to escape from the stone door. Later I found out that was not the case at all. As soon as he opened the stone door, the little triceratops slipped into the vegetable garden. Then he opened his mouth wide and said, "Papa," and took a big mouthful. Chewed a piece of lettuce right down to the root. The little triceratops finished eating a whole head of lettuce and still wasn't satisfied. He continued to chew on the second one. Then the third one. After eating 12 of them in a row, he ate up all the vegetables that Zhou Yi planted in the vegetable garden. Only then are they willing to give up. Zhou Yi finally understood that this guy likes to eat lettuce. When I first gave it to him, he was reluctant to eat it, but after 1 bite, he became addicted. Isn't this more delicious than fern leaves? The little triceratops was not full after eating 12 heads of lettuce, so it also dug out the unground sweet potato roots in the vegetable garden and gnawed on them. But sweet potatoes are obviously not as tasty as lettuce leaves. It only eats grass leaves, not sweet potatoes. Zhou Yi grabbed the little triceratops by its horns and lifted it up from the vegetable field, pointing at its nose and teaching, "Is this how you waste food?" The little triceratops seemed to know that he had done something wrong, and there was no hostility in his eyes. It screamed in dissatisfaction because its stomach was not full. Zhou Yi directly traded a few lettuces from the World Channel. "If you want to eat, please promise me something first." The little triceratops looked at Zhou Yi half understanding. Zhou Yi directly used tame on it. The little triceratops seemed to understand Zhou Yi's intention, and its big head went crazy. Zhou Yi found that after working hard for several days, he was no longer as good as a piece of lettuce. The little triceratops was successfully bribed by Zhou Yi with a few lettuces. System prompt. You have successfully tamed the baby dinosaur, Triceratops, and now the trainer level has been upgraded to level 2, Sweaty Trainer. Has mastered the Cell Division Potion. Strength Potion Elementary. Agility Potion Elementary. A series of system prompts came. Zhou Yi opened the Animal Tamer career bar on the system panel to view. Found that his taming success rate increased from 1% to 5%. 2 beasts appeared in the Beast Taming column. Little Triceratops Loyalty 50, Full Limit 100, Current Status, Young, Slightly Injured. Mountain Pheasant Loyalty 70, Full Limit 100, Current Status, Adult, Healthy. Note: if the loyalty is lower than 30, there will be a risk of betrayal. The level of the animal trainer was finally improved, and Zhou Yi was very happy. And it was directly upgraded by 2 levels at once. This is all thanks to the little Triceratops. However, the little Triceratops was forced to tame it reluctantly because of food. Loyalty is very low, only 50 points. It seems that we have to find a way to increase the loyalty of the little Triceratops. This was the first dinosaur tamed by Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi gave it a name. "I'll call you Mistress from now on." Xiao San was just nibbling on the lettuce. The name Zhou Yi gave it was unpleasant, but it seemed that it had no right to refuse. Soon, the few lettuces Zhou Yigang bought were eaten up by it again. Roar! The mistress started rubbing Zhou Yi's trouser legs with her head. Keep asking him for food. Zhou Yi has been feeding the little triceratops 30 pieces of lettuce, plus 10 pounds of bracken leaves. Only then did he feed the mistress. Only now did he understand how terrifying the triceratops' appetite was. According to Xiaosan's eating method, she would eat almost 40 kilograms of food a day. Only then can you eat enough. Equivalent to 30 times the amount of food an adult eats. Moreover, the appetite of triceratops will become larger and larger. An adult triceratops eats about 500 kilograms of food every day. Zhou Yi didn't plan to plant so much lettuce to feed it. The food that Xiaosan eats every day is still mainly fern leaves. Otherwise, with the way it eats, even if a vegetable garden is planted with lettuce, it won't be enough for it to eat. Zhou Yi then checked the potions that the sweating animal trainer could prepare. There are 3 potions in total. Cell division potion. Accelerates cell division and growth. If a small dinosaur takes cell division medicine every day, its growth rate can reach 10 times the normal rate. Strength potion elementary. After taking it, it can initially increase the strength of taming animals. Agility potion elementary. After taking it, it can initially improve the agility and physical reaction of the tamed animal. Bloodborne essence is required to make all 3 potions. Strength potions and agility potions require different types of beast meat. Short-faced bear meat can only be used with strength potions, and terror bird meat can only be used with agility potions. The cell division potion can be prepared using the same ingredients as bloodborne essence. Zhou Yi checked and found that 1 primary blood source essence, plus 1 short-faced bear meat x1, can be used to prepare 3 primary strength potions. But this medicine needs to be taken every day. If Xiaosan is given a cell division potion, a primary strength potion, and a primary agility potion every day at the same time. Every day or so, you will consume 1 short-faced bear meat, 1 terror bird meat, and 3 primary blood essences. The food is even more luxurious than that of the master Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi could only eat 1 piece of short-faced bear meat in a day. If the mistress is given a full meal, the food expenses for a day will be 3 or 4 times that of Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi. Only now did Zhou Yi discover that the profession of animal trainer is actually a money-burning profession. It seems very strong, but in fact it is indeed very strong. But only those with money can afford it. Zhou Yi calculated that if he transplanted the berry forest and sold berries for meat every day, almost just enough to serve a full set of baby triceratops. Xiao San is the first dinosaur Zhou Yi has tamed. He must not be shabby anymore. Zhou Yi decided to rush. He currently has 3 portions of short-faced bear meat and horror bird meat, and more than a dozen portions of primary blood essence. Zhou Yi immediately started to prepare the medicine. A total of 25 cell division potions, 9 primary strength potions, and 9 primary agility potions were prepared. Pour these potions into the spring water and feed them to Xiao San, which is enough for him to eat for almost 3 days. For the rest, Zhou Yi must find another way. Zhou Yi opened the friend list. I found Chen Yi and sent her a message. Do you want more berries? Chen Yi replied almost instantly. Yes, of course I want it, the more the better. Zhou Yi applied for the transaction and sent 400 berries to Chen Yi. Chen Yi accepts all orders. Like last time, I gave him 20 pounds of excellent soil. Thanks. After receiving 20 kilograms of excellent soil, Zhou Yi was in a happy mood and couldn't help but say. Even if he doesn't use these 20 pounds of excellent soil, if you resell it to someone else, you can make a huge profit. But Zhou Yi doesn't know how to do that. His quality is too low, and he feels a bit sorry for others. Chen Yi, you're welcome. Haha. Zhou Yi thought about it. Did she eat so much by herself? She couldn't help but remind her. Did you eat so much by yourself? It will go bad if you leave it for too long. Chen Yi, don't worry, I have a freezer and a juicer. I can squeeze it into juice. It's so fresh. Do you want to drink it? If you want to drink it, I'll give you a bottle. Zhou Yi has already taken advantage of him, so why bother? No, you can keep it and drink it, haha. Then Zhou Yi ended the chat. I spread the 20 kilograms of excellent grade soil in the yard. After covering the small yard, there are still 10 kilograms of excellent grade soil left, which I plan to keep for later use. Then transplant the berry tree to the remaining half of the soil in the yard. In this way, you don't have to go to the berry forest every day to carry the fruits. You can just wait at home to harvest the fruits all day long. Zhou told the mistress to recuperate at home and not run around. He was going to go to the berry forest again. Not surprisingly, this was supposed to be his last trip to the berry grove and explore the source of the python disaster. Zhou arrived safely near the berry forest. Last time he encountered a black python attack near the berry forest. He had a feeling that if a python disaster occurred on the island, the virgin forest would be the source of the disaster. If the python disaster in the virgin forest is serious, even if his base has been upgraded to level 2, he will have to consider moving. Once the python disaster breaks out, it will be very terrible. An overwhelming number of pythons appeared. Zhang couldn't even step out of his own stone door. Zhou base is located on the edge of the virgin forest. If the virgin forest becomes the source of the python disaster, such a position is extremely unfriendly to him. Zhou climbed up a big tree skillfully. Standing on a branch dozens of meters high, you have a wider view. The purpose of this is to check if there is any danger around you. This look really made him discover the danger hidden in the dark. A black python was hiding under a fern leaf, with a snake letter in its mouth. Another python hung on the trunk of the tree, using its scales to disguise itself as the bark of the trunk. If Zhou didn't see it accurately, it would be easy to be deceived. 2 pythons, one is about 7 or 8 meters long, and the other is close to 10 meters. It looks very ferocious. Fortunately, Zhou discovered them in advance, otherwise if he went directly to pick berries, he would be the one who was attacked. Now, the identity of hunter and prey has changed. Zhou calmly took out the horn bow hanging on his back. Take out an arrow made of fine wood. Hanging on the string, I pulled with all my strength. The force of the snatch, which weighed nearly 500 kilograms, instantly stretched the bowstring into a full moon shape. The direction of the arrow is aimed at the big black python. Whoosh! An arrow penetrated 7 inches of its neck. It was nailed to the ground. The big black python was shot through 7 inches by an arrow, and blood spurted up more than 1 meter high. The huge snake body swung back and forth from side to side. He went crazy and smashed down all the berry trees around him. Angry roars kept coming from the snake's mouth. This big black python has great strength to break free, but this is an arrow made of fine wood. The arrow pinned it firmly to the ground, and even if it struggled with all its strength, it could not break free. Howling on the ground, it looked like it was close to death, and this behavior was just a death struggle. Zhou didn't care about it either. Continued to draw the second arrow, aiming at the flower-skinned python on the other side. This large flower-skinned python seemed to have noticed something was wrong. It was lying on a branch spitting out snake messages, looking uneasy. Zhou rewarded it with an arrow again. From this condescending perspective, the flower-skinned python is simply his target. The arrow pierced the neck. Hiss, hiss. The huge flower-skinned python fell directly from the tree. Blood flying. Because it was lying on a tree, this arrow could not nail it firmly to the branch. The flower-skinned python quickly swam deep into the forest with an arrow stuck in its neck. Zhou jumped down from the branch in one step and picked up the fine-grade meat. The blood here will soon attract predators from around. He didn't dare to stay any longer, but instead chased after the flower-skinned python in the direction it left. The flower-skinned python was injured, leaving clear traces of blood on its path. Zhou followed the blood trail all the way. This flower-skinned python was stimulated by its injury and swam very fast in the jungle. Zhou is not worried about not being able to catch it. As long as he follows the blood trail it leaves, he will eventually find it. Zhou happened to use this flower-skinned python to find its lair. Check the number of pythons in the snake den. According to common sense, before a python disaster breaks out, the number of snakes in the snake den determines the size of the python disaster. Usually there are too many snakes in the snake nest and they can't fit in it. They will leave the nest collectively to look for food, forming a grand occasion of python disaster outbreak. Python disasters occur, ranging from small to large. Small python disasters usually involve hundreds of thousands of pythons. If millions of pythons come out of the cave at the same time, it will be a medium-sized python disaster. A large-scale python disaster is the real disaster. Tens of millions or hundreds of millions of pythons exploded in a concentrated manner, sweeping away all the creatures on the island. Not a drop is left. If we encountered only a small-scale python disaster this time, that would be okay. If he encounters a medium-sized or larger python, he will be in trouble. Zhou may want to consider moving. If unfortunately there is a large python disaster, the entire island will not be able to survive. It is possible for all players on the island to be wiped out. The only way to survive may be to cross the sea to the opposite continent. Zhou thought deeply while going deep along the way. I have been chasing for at least 10 minutes, but I still haven't caught up with the big python. Zhou stopped on a tree, opened the map and looked at it. I found myself in the depths of the primeval forest. This was an area he had never set foot on before. Pythons generally don't stray too far from their nests when hunting. Zhou guessed that this place should not be far from the snake nest. With all his energy, he looked around. If you step into a snake's nest, stop immediately. I followed the blood trail for about 5 minutes. Zhou found the body of the flower-skinned python. The python died from excessive blood loss. It shed a lot of blood along the way, and its huge body shriveled up. Before it swam back to the nest, it burped. Zhou now faces 2 choices. One is to continue to go deeper and search the snake's lair by himself along the python's path. The second is to return the same way. Zhou lost his target halfway through the pursuit, which made Zhou very distressed. But he was very unwilling to return to the base. The snake's nest should be right in front of you. Zhou didn't hesitate for too long, and quickly made up his mind to continue tracking by himself. Zhou has a compass in his hand and will not get lost in the virgin forest. Surrounded by towering trees, each tree can be hundreds of meters high. After looking at the direction, the flower-skinned python almost always heads north. So Zhou continued to go deeper into the north of the virgin forest. Zhou carefully explored all the way. The 5-minute journey ended up taking 30 minutes. Because the number of snakes around has obviously begun to increase. You can encounter a snake almost every 100 meters you walk. The further you go, the more snakes you get. At the end, there were several giant pythons entrenched at the same time almost within 10 meters of him. Fortunately, Zhou stood on a branch dozens of meters high and walked along the crisscrossing vines. Otherwise, you would have entered the snake's belly long ago. Standing on a tree and watching a group of snakes swimming by your feet also requires a lot of courage. Zhou felt that it was very close here, and there should be a snake nest not far away. Zhou climbed onto the vine and continued to move forward cautiously. There are layers of leaves below, making it difficult for the snakes below to notice him. Zhou advanced another 200 meters and found that there was no road ahead. At this time, he lowered his head and glanced down, and saw a sight he would never forget in his life. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.